You ready? All right. Little dog, I'm extra unique. My whole aura screen talent. I've been listening to fella like Griselda and Marvin Winans just to make sure I'm balanced. I'm from the West, yeah. Half of my partners is savage, the other half made it out the mud, but the taste of sludge didn't alter their palate. Yeah. I'm a dog, I'm a beast, and your father figure. That little P365 was just fast starter pistol. She got a scorpion too, and a sting you just like a scorpion do. If a demon get gregarious, my little Harry, they'll do what accordions do. That means fold. I was told by the G's of old. Keep your lady close, make sure she can work a pole. But they wasn't referring to strippers. I'm still buffet with the Clippers. I done been blessed with a woman that pray heavy, but turn a freak on the liquor. She keep the devil off me like the cherubim. She make it clear to hold that we ain't sharing them. I push the euthanasia like a chariot. They gay a legend, hey, we had to bury him. But that's how I be in the jungle. I grew up around wildlings and mongrels, ready to slump you. First you a junkie. I rock the stars to be humble. I told my baby girl she gon' have more in her head than just product and bundles. They say I'm rapping with hunger. I tell them hell no, I'm eating. If you book me for a show and I can't bring my wife and my babies, I'm leaving. Big daddy energy speaking. I keep the enemy tweaking. I can go all on the track and they'll say I'm the hardest one breathing. I am a beacon for heathen. Me and my hood got cohesion. It's on me, kid, with that 30 inch. So they bless you when they know what's missing. It's on bye, bye. If you black, we'll sing bye, bye, bye. That's my side. Throw it up and I'ma put it down until I die. This on bye, bye. If you black, we'll sing bye, bye, bye. That's my side. Throw it up and I'ma put it down until I die.
I'm extra petite, but the hood call me fat. Fire on me like Shadrach and Meshach. I get peace for the scraps. Throw up the West, yeah. But let's just keep it a stack. I was raised in Grand Rapids. My pops was inactive. My mama was forced to adapt. Yeah, she held it down. That's nothing new. I'm black in America. Yeah. Raised in the slums, came up from crumbs. Now we cool with Erica. Yeah. I'm talking Badu. I don't know why you don't recognize, but we're so giving. Go just like a drive through school. I heard that's the only thing that I apply to. Gotta admit it, I ain't kidding. Ain't it glorious? I feel like did it, Toby and Big and we notorious. But there's so much more to us. Might get a Grammy. That's the floor to us. Got 2 kids, lifestyle warriors. Don't need oracles. I ain't warriors. I am the young queen, mother, baby. What it do? If you breathe and don't care for your seed, what is you? Say it with me. This for all y'all who don't know. Be fat, but I ain't small, no put no day. What it do it grande? Knew I'd be his fiancé when he was broke on Causeway, yo. And he ain't even hit his speak like Dante. And I ain't kill. What that mean? Dante never saw Kanye.
It's a bop, bop. If you black, we'll sing bop, bop, bop. That's my side. Throw it up and I'ma put it down until I die. It's a bop, bop. If you black, we'll sing bop, bop, bop. That's my side. Throw it up and I'ma put it down until I die. Stop playing.
Yo, Halito, everybody checking in, man. Yo, we gonna get this cranked up again, man. Tonight's topic, man, we gonna deal with, this is part 2. I told y'all I'm gonna try to do this in a part 3 series, of the question of why are more so-called black people voting for or supporting Trump when he was at one time really a hated person in politics. He was black people in quotations, because we know we're not black. But for the conversation, I'm using the term black. We know we're not black, okay? I hate I have to come on and say this every time, but for the conversation is why are more why are more Black people beginning to salute, Godfather, Godfeather, my brother Chris Jackson, the elder, Jamil Dean in the building. He's also in season 2 of the docuseries, The Elder. Y'all make sure y'all check The Elder out, man. He's definitely in season 2 of Our Story this season. Now, before I get started, this is going to probably be a 2-hour live because I have some guests coming on in the second hour who's going to give us their perspective. One of the people I'm bringing on, he actually and he used to work with the Trump administration. So we're going to get a chance to talk about some things, some misconceptions, and some policies and things like that. Because maybe he can help give us an insight to why we are seeing an increase instead of a decrease of our people now either voting for or supporting Trump. And I just say supporting as if, even if you're just in conversation, talking about it, whether you're going to vote or not, just in conversation, you're just talking about it as current events in our country, in our neighborhoods, in our cities, in our communities, just speaking on it as current events. You have every right, whether you're voting or not, to speak on current events. Okay, so there's some different things we're going to address in the second hour. So before we get started, I want to take you guys back. Okay, I want to take you guys back to season 1 of Our Story, and there's an episode that I want to play 20 minutes of for you guys and kind of help you understand where I stand at in my position with Donald Trump as a nativist, as someone who is America first. Okay, so I'm going to walk you back about 20 minutes into that episode. And I just want to help you understand my position personally, amongst some other things that come along with it. I want to help you understand at least my position personally on why I support Donald Trump. If I had to support or choose one or the other, I support Donald Trump as being a nativist, as being America first. And what we're seeing right now and what we have seen in the last 4 years has not been America first. Shout out, cuz. What's happening with you? My cousin Slim Bull checking in. So what I'm going to do is I just bear with me, and we're going to get into this. The second hour. But before I do that, I want to take you back into an episode of Our Story called the Know Nothing Party. Let me pull it up. Let me get it. And I want to take you to that episode, just 20 minutes of it. Okay? So I'm going to play that, and then we're going to go from there, all right? So give me 1 second. I'm pulling it up. But we're going to definitely tackle some topics tonight, okay? All right, let's go.
This program contains subject matter and language that may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Halito Tribe, it's your boy Chief Cali checking back in for another episode of Our Story, 1968, Indian Civil Rights. Before we get started, I want to take a second and I want to thank everybody who has taken out the time to check us out. I've gotten a lot of messages and inboxes, emails of people telling me how they've been watching this series with their families and with their children. I've seen people tell me that they watched it on Zoom calls with their family. And a lot of people are very happy that this seems to be easily explained. That was one of the things when we created the docuseries, we wanted to make this kind of easy, just enough for you to scratch your head. We didn't want to go too deep and go way over your head and you don't understand what we're talking about. But I think so far, everything we've said, we've made you scratch your head a little bit and say, wait a minute, that's not what they taught us in school. Wait a minute, that's not what my family said. So that was the purpose of this docuseries. And again, I'll state this again. As we move along, I think you're starting to see that this really has not much to do with the civil rights movement or Dr. King. But we do have to find out what happened to those Indians that was with Dr. King in 1968, marching, fighting, protesting for Indian civil rights, the Indian Bill of Rights, and fighting for public Indian housing, the Fair Housing Act of 1968. So with that being said, we're going to continue into this episode from where we left off last episode, where we were distinguishing the Native American Indian from the American Indian.
We're not asking permission. We're going to tell our story, and you're going to listen. I'm trying.
They don't know our story. They don't know what we've been through, baby. They're all on the outside looking in. But we still gonna do what we want to. Touching conversations, a bunch of apologizing and explaining. But we live and we learn. Hey, I bet they ain't think that we would make it, but we overcame it. This shit ain't nothing to play with. Family over everything, still the same shit, and I wouldn't trade it for nothing. Nah, we've been through hell and back, but we're still standing on our team. Hey, you know how we do it, we go all in. Yeah, it's us over everybody. I when it's trouble in paradise, those and motherfuckers wanna hear about it. Let's be clear about it. We don't make decisions based on their opinions. We can't expect, nor can we make them see the vision, as long as we know the business. Cause they don't know our story. They don't know what we've been through, baby. They're all on the outside looking in. But we still gonna do what we want to. Never said it would be easy. But when you commit to shit, you gotta keep on fighting for who and what you believe in. Believe it. Cause I ain't going nowhere, baby. I'll be here till the end of time. Take no chances, I won't jeopardize. You know I won't. Cause true love only happens once. I know my past ain't pretty, but she still ride with me up. You see, this ain't for everybody. I went to trouble in paradise. Those and motherfuckers wanna hear about it. Let's be clear about it. We don't make decisions based on their opinions. We can't expect, nor can we make them see the vision, as long as we know the business. Cause they don't know our story. They don't know what we've been through, baby. They're all on the outside looking in. But we still gonna do what we want to.
This is what we are faced with. This is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
Now, before we go further, I like to ask this question. Did you know that the Native American Indians are not the first Native American group here in North America? No, you didn't know that? Well, I think it's time, before we move forward, for a quick story time. The Native American Party was formed by Louis Charles Levine in 1844, which was 179 years ago. In 1855, the name changed from the Native American Party to the American Party 5 years prior to the party dissolving in 1860, which was 163 years ago. And eventually, they merged into the American Republican Party, which later turned into the Republican Party. Their headquarters was located in New York City. Their religion was Protestantism. Their ideology was American nationalism, republicanism, nativism. Oh, and keep that term in mind. We'll be back to revisit that term in just a moment. Populism, cultural assimilation, anti-Semitism, and they were anti-Catholic, Irish, and German. The Native American Party also had their own flag. The colors to their flag was red, white, and blue, just like the American flag, but with a notable quote on the flag that read, "Native Americans, beware of foreign influence." I like to read the definition of the word American from the 1828 Webster Dictionary. An American is a noun. It's a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. Now, you ever wonder what it means when it says, but now applies to the descendants of the Europeans born here? Let's check it out. Let's see who these Europeans are. The Order of the Star-Spangled Banner, also known as the OSSB, was an oath-bound secret society in New York City. It was created in 1849 by Charles B. Allen to protest the rise of Irish, Catholic, and German immigration into the United States. Now, to join this order, a man had to be at least 21 years old, a Protestant, and willing to obey the order's dictates without question. Members were nativists. These were citizens opposed to immigration, especially by Catholics. They saw Catholics as dangerous illegal voters under the control of the Pope in Rome. Members invariably would respond to questions about the OSSB by claiming that they knew nothing. This practice caused newspaper editor Horace Greeley to label them the Know-Nothings. The Know-Nothings, also known as the Native American Party, had many notable members associated to their group. I mean, from presidents to governors, senators, mayors, in all of the major markets such as New York, Maryland, Texas, California, and more.
That's the building of our country right there, Mr. Cutting. Americans are borning.
I don't see no Americans. I see trespassers. Irish hops do a job for a nickel what a nigger does for a dime and a white man used to get a quarter for. What have they done? Name one thing they've contributed. Votes. Votes, you say? They vote how the Archbishop tells them, and who tells the Archbishop? Their king in the pointy hat what sits on his throne in Rome.
Bill's got mixed feelings as regards the Irish.
Bill, deliver these good and fervent folk to the polls on a regular basis, and there'll be a handsome price for each vote goes Tammany's way.
My father gave his life making this country what it is. Murdered by the British with all of his men on the 25th of July, Anno Domini 1814. You think I'm gonna help you befoul his legacy? By giving this country over to them what's had no hand in the fighting for it? Why, because they come off a boat crawling with lice and begging you for soup?
You're a great one for the fighting, Bill, I know. But you can't fight forever.
I can go down doing it.
And you will.
What did you say?
I said you're turning your back on the future.
Not our future.
Who holds sway over the 5 points? Us natives? born rightwise, or the foreign hordes defiling it.
Figure. That figure would be one William Poole. Born in New Jersey, 1821, he grew to stand more than 6 feet tall and weighed over 200 pounds. He was an enormous and imposing figure, especially for his time. He would move to New York in 1832 with his family, where he would follow in his father's footsteps and become a butcher. He also volunteered as a firefighter with the Howard Volunteer Fire Engine Company in the 1840s. During this time, he was busy carving out a tough guy reputation as a savage, bare-knuckle boxer. Before the Queensberry rules were introduced, boxing was a ruthless sport. Poole took full advantage of the lack of rules and had a reputation for gouging, biting, and general destruction. His butchery skills were also put to use in knife fights around the streets of New York. He used his reputation and connections within the boxing, working, and criminal communities to establish the Washington Street Gang. From here, he would later found the famous Bowery Boys Street Gang. These gangs were strangely intertwined with competing firefighting crews. The Bowery Boys would fight rival firefighting companies at the scene of a fire. This morbid territorial warfare meant that fires often were neglected as rival gangs fought for firefighter supremacy in Manhattan. This was not merely for show, as fire crews would be rewarded financially for each fire they put out. The Bowery Boys were tied together by more than just camaraderie. They all shared an anti-immigration, anti-Catholic political ideology. They held fiercely patriotic beliefs and were strongly opposed to the influx of Irish immigration due to the potato famine. This ideology would spark a violent rivalry with Irish gang the Dead Rabbits. This was led by bare-knuckle boxing rival John Morrissey. William Poole was also politically active in a pro-American, anti-immigrant nationalist movement known as the Know Nothings. He would use his power to threaten and beat Irish immigrants to prevent and stop them from voting. The aim was to diminish the rights of Catholics and what they deemed non-Americans, particularly stopping them entering office. The Know Nothings Party got its name from answering, "I know nothing," when party outsiders asked questions about the movement. Members of this secretive organisation would gather at their headquarters known as the America's Club. On the opposite end was the pro-Irish Democratic Party, Tammany Hall. Bare-knuckle boxing champion John Morrissey was a bodyguard for the movement, who helped protect voters and immigrants from attacks by the Bowery Boys, aka the Natives. They would also bully voters themselves to vote for their chosen politicians. Together, they had a bloody rivalry which amassed over 200 street battles. Morrissey first met the Bowery Boys and William Poole after charging into the America's Club, claiming he could defeat any man in the building. The heavily weapon-equipped natives proceeded to give him a hellacious beating. However, his courage caught the attention of Tammany Hall, and this is how he became their enforcer. Events were heightened in 1855 after high-ranking members of each gang were involved in a bar fight with guns. Tom Hyer, a bare-knuckle prize fighter and associate of William Poole and the Bowery Boys, was shot with a flesh wound in the neck by Dead Rabbits Lou Baker and Jim Turner. Hyer drew his pistol and fired but missed, either intentionally or accidentally. Reports differ. He put his gun away and decked the two men, dragging them onto the street. Poole would later find Baker only a few days later and proceeded to beat him into bloody unconsciousness. After this, William Poole challenged the leader of the Dead Rabbits to a fight. The challenge was accepted, and the brawl would take place at Amos Street Dock. The events that took place differ, but one thing is for sure: the former world champion John Morrissey took an almighty beating. The fight was to be no holds barred, which suited the vicious street fighting Poole. A New York Daily Times article, among other publications, alleged that Poole defeated Morrissey in under a minute, after which a riot ensued. This left the Irish entourage surrounded and beaten without mercy. Other accounts tell that Poole did not arrive at all, setting up an ambush of 200 native supporters who attacked the prize fighter and his 12 or so supporters. Morrissey sought his revenge on February 24, 1855 at Stanwix Hall Bar on Broadway. He spat in the Bowery Boy leader's face and attempted to shoot and kill him. But the gun jammed, leaving Morrison looking down the sight of Poole's own gun. However, Poole decided it was cowardly to shoot an unarmed man and instead threw him a knife, challenging him to a knife fight. Morrissey declined, as the butcher's reputation with a knife was frightening. This altercation drew the attention of the police, who separated the two men and sent them on their way. However, Poole returned to the bar around midnight.
The party entered into a rapid decline after Fillmore's loss. In 1857, the Dred Scott versus Sanford pro-slavery decision of the Supreme Court of the United States further galvanized opposition to slavery in the North, causing many former know-nothings to join the Republicans. The remnants of the American Party largely joined the Constitutional Union Party in 1860, and they disappeared during the American Civil War. Let's take a look at some notable and current nativists in high political positions and even entertainment. Even though the Native American Party hasn't been around in 163 years, nativism still exists today.
Amid the chaos downtown today, Portland police were largely nowhere to be found. The Bureau saying they're stretched so thin they couldn't safely intervene. And a warning, some of what you're about to see is graphic. Here's Maggie Vespa.
From the beginning, it was a flat-out face-off. Several hundred people came to downtown Portland around noon Saturday, a crowd of far and alt-right activists clashing with Antifa and other counter-protesters near the Justice Center. We saw pepper spray, bear mace, and fights. Here, you can see someone bleeding. Many of the right-wing demonstrators were clearly armed.
Nativists, they were against the Democratic Party. They were also against slavery. The Native American Party were also Republicans. And many of our people were Republicans until 1968. And with Lyndon B. Johnson signing the Civil Rights Act, many of our people then became Democrats. But once again, this was all by design. Now, based upon what we learned today, the question still remains, where were these new Native Americans during all of this? We know that the Native American Party turned into the Republican Party. So what is the Native American Indians' political party? Why are they not under the oath of the Star-Spangled Banner? The Native American Indians. If the nativists had quarrels in the Northeast with the Jews, the Catholics, the Irish, and Italians, they also had quarrels with the Mexicans in the Southwest and the Asians in the West. Where were the Native American Indians during all of this? Because the nativists didn't have many quarrels with immigration and aliens in the Southeast and Midwest, where the majority of our American Indian ancestors roamed.
Why is it that people cannot make the connection?
So I'll stop there. Okay. I'll stop there. So when it comes down to what I see in Donald Trump, I'm an American. You don't even have to say I'm American Indian. I'm an American. And from what I see, Trump is America first. He's a nativist. He's about taking care of home. And this is the reason I said, if he's so racist, who cares? Because when those so-called black men were overseas and they were being held by foreign government, whether he's racist or not, he told those people over there, you better get them back over here. I don't care nothing about them being no Negroes. They're Americans. He's about America first. You can feel how you want to feel. You can say what you want to say. I'm telling you my position. And tonight we'll deal with some policies. We'll look into some things that he actually did to help our people. We'll deal with a lot of the rhetoric about him being a racist and, wanting to kill black people and all of this stuff. Let's also remember, he was in office for 4 years. He had every chance to do whatever he was going to do to us at that point. But when we look at it factually, he did the opposite. He actually did the opposite. Okay, so these are some of the things we're going to talk about in the second hour. In a few minutes, my guest should be joining in a few minutes. But I want to shout out to the Minister of Information, who's also in the chat. We were over on his live the other day, and we had a great conversation with our sister NeoX over on his platform. She's a Kamala supporter, and she has every right to, her her choice, as we also do. Those of us who choose to be independent, those of us who choose to vote for Trump or support Trump, and those of us who choose to deal with Kamala. I'll say this to you guys. I'm personally more happy to see us speaking about politics, because there was a time a lot of us didn't even care about politics. We wasn't looking into anything. And what we'll deal with tonight is we'll see that what's going on right now is definitely a gender war. It's definitely a gender war, and I don't think it's by accident. But we're seeing a lot of so-called black men kind of waking up and looking more into things. You say, do I support Trump? Yeah, I support Trump. I'm a Trump supporter. And we'll deal with that in a few minutes when my guests join. When my guests join the panel, I'm waiting on them to join. But yeah, man, once we start looking into things and come up out of the race, oh, she's black, oh, he hates black people. I'm looking at, can even a racist protect his country? Can even a racist protect his country? Because guess what? That racist guy lives on this land. We live on this land. All of that. You feel what I'm saying? So tonight we'll deal with a lot of things. We'll deal with the two birds. What do you say? The two wings, same bird situation. We'll deal with some of the other topics. We'll deal with what I say, the misconceptions. There's some things we're going to really touch on tonight. We'll even look into the whole Donald Trump ad that he took out on the Central Park 5 that everybody is so up in arms about. Was he really calling for the death of them? Well, we'll look into it tonight. We'll look into the immigration situation. Now, I showed y'all that portion of our story. That I showed y'all that because I wanted to show y'all why Donald Trump is so hard on illegal immigrants coming in here. Because he's for America first. And you have to come out of your feelings. You have to come out of your feelings. Did anybody say Trump was perfect? I never said Trump was perfect. I never said, he doesn't make mistakes. Who doesn't, though? Who is perfect? But I was looking at his actions. He had 4 years in office to do everything y'all said that man was going to do. So at this point, I think a lot of us, this is just my perspective, this is just my perspective. I think a lot of us are starting to wake up. We're seeing the last 4 years of what we've been dealing with, and it does not look like America first. It does not look like America first. This looks like very much an invasion of immigrants who it seems like they're trying to mix them in with us and eventually cause a war between us and them. I mean, I'm going to say this again. Just imagine your mother allowing everybody in the city to come stay in your house. Or let's just say your parents. Just imagine your parents allow everybody in the city to come stay in your house. Your parents are taking care of them financially, giving them food, giving them shelter, putting them through school. Yet they're charging you rent. And you're struggling to even stay in your own parents' house. And they done moved you to the bottom of the house, down in the basement, in a corner somewhere with you and your family, while they're letting strangers come into your home and they're taking care of them. So you say, no, I don't have to personally. I don't have to personally be impacted, but I guess what? I have family in California who's being impacted. I have family in the Midwest who's definitely being impacted. I have a large amount of family in Ohio, where I'm from, and New York. Who's being impacted? Now, you ask, have I been impacted? Have I been impacted personally? I'm going to tell you again, no, I haven't personally. But when we go listen to Donna Jackson sit at the summit for the studies of immigration of the Black community, when we go listen to her speak and she breaks down the numbers in front of the people, in front of the politicians, she breaks down the numbers and shows what's really affecting us, how the mass immigration is affecting us. Now, it's not so much just immigrants, it's the illegal immigrants. It's the illegals. So just because I'm not affected personally, I have a large family. I have family who live in these cities where they are complaining. The key word is illegal. Yes. Illegal. So we'll talk about Black jobs and all of that. You're in Columbus. I'm in my family's in Columbus. My family's in Cleveland. So yeah, we're going to talk about a lot of this. So I have one of my guests who's joining the panel right now, my brother Bones. Bones, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. Greetings.
Yeah, this is my brother Bones right here. As far as I know, let me see. We have my brother Bones joining the panel tonight. We also have my brother Greg. I'm waiting for him to join the panel. And also the Minister of Information may pop in too. And I will say this, all three of these people are on season 2 of Our Story. All three of these people that I just named are on season 2 of the Our Story, okay? Somebody says, I see it directly in Ohio and they're taking over my jobs. We're going to talk about that also, DeAndre. The Black job statements that so many people seem to have found that to be offensive. The Black jobs statements, okay? Again, let me reiterate. We all know we are not Black, at least this crowd over here. We don't rock with being called Black, but for the conversation, I'm going to use the word Black because that's what's being used in the news. And I'm gonna have my brother Bones actually touch on being Black. We're gonna actually touch on being Black tonight. So my brother Bones has joined the panel. My brother Bones, I want to introduce him. Y'all have seen me do a lot of work with brother Bones. He's in season Bones. No, Bones he didn't make season 1 of the docuseries. He'll be in season 2 though. Y'all have seen Bones at my when I do the genealogy events. Y'all have seen Bones go with me to the mounds and teach the children. Y'all have seen us do work together many times. Okay. Bones was also a part of the Trump administration during his first campaign or whatever when he was in office. So Bones used to keep us afloat about a lot of what was going on in those meetings that he was sitting in. He was actually sitting in the meetings. So he would come back and he would bring back to the community the information that was going on inside of those meetings. So I'm going to introduce my brother Bones, and I'm going to let him tell y'all who he is, and we're going to go over some things. Bones sent me some information he wants me to put up on the screens. So we're definitely going to do that. Now, before Bones, I go into that, Bones, I'm going to play this video, and then I'm going to bring you up, okay? And I'm going to let you go in. We're going to discuss some topics, okay? So you have some people.
No problem.
Yeah, you have some people tuned in, and I'm sure they're probably wondering, why did you even decide to work with the Trump administration? So we'll deal with all of that in just a second. I just want to play this video before we get started. Please, y'all.
Enough electoral votes, more than 270, more than enough to become the 44th president of the United States. He will be the first African-American president of the United States.
I've been broke all my life, but I kept hope all them nights. You see business in my city? Yeah, they closed all them twice. I was just riding down Salem, all them damn potholes I can't drive. I know y'all can fix it.
Enough electoral votes, more than 270, more than enough to become the 44th president of the United States. He will be the first African-American president of the United States.
I've been broke all my life, but I kept hope all them nights. You see business in my city? Yeah, they closed all them twice. I was just riding down Salem, all them damn potholes I can't drive. I know y'all can fix it faster, but I know y'all won't try. Don't nobody care about us. And that's wrong vote. Voted for Obama back in 2012. I remember that's when I had hope. He was saying, yes, we can. And everybody got less food stamps. And when I turned 21, I was still broke. I'd never vote again. I don't think I ever had a president make my life better. Did it all on my own. Ain't no politician ever do a nice gesture. I don't even know the mayor's name. I ain't never seen her one time ever. Tell me how she gonna help the city. Write letters. What I'm supposed to do, blame Trump. He ain't never really gave a ain't nobody raised minimum wage. None of these jobs pay enough. I think they just want to keep us broke, cause they ain't putting none in place for us. This how all my people feel, but we gotta learn. We complained enough, let me change it up. Everything I just said, everybody I know think the same way. See, they don't want to see us vote, and we never do, so we see the same thing. But all our votes really do count, and they'll never really let it show. So now I'm finna break it down, cause if I don't, you would probably never know. First thing first, you know back in middle school when they taught us, it was 3 branches of the government. We forgot it when we got older. It's the judicial, the legislative, and executive. But all we know is the executive. That's the mayor or the governor and the president. Now, none of them 3 people make no laws. They just be checking them. The laws come to their desk and all they do is say no or yes to it. So when the news station tried to tell us that Barack Obama couldn't put us on, we was all salty at Obama when it was the Congress members all along. We got to focus on the legislative branch. Yeah, they the ones that make the laws. Yeah, they the ones write how much food stamp money you get on the card. But when people that wanted to help us wanted the job, I know they probably lost. Cause we ain't even know their name, we ain't know their face, we ain't know it all. So the Congress or the State House, that's legislative, they make laws. So what we want from the president is what they do. Okay, y'all? See, they election every 2 years, but we don't ever even go to those. The Congress, they can raise minimum wage, but we ain't even really know it though. So you know how back in 08, when we all voted for Obama, we was all supposed to go back in 2010 and vote for the Congress. Cause they the ones make child support laws. They the ones choose if your kids at school get to eat steak or corn dogs. The State House make the court costs. So if the country failed, then you can't say it's them, it's your fault. Cause y'all ain't know to vote for Congress members that was for y'all. And they don't gotta leave after 4 years, and we just let them sit. See, they don't want to tell you this, they want you to focus on the president. Now the third branch is the judicial, that's judges. They the reason why John Crawford and Trayvon ain't had justice. So when Meek Mill got locked up just for popping willies, we blame the judge and not the city when they let her get voted in, cause they ain't know who to vote against. Imagine life on the other side. Roads better, schools better, everybody get their license back, grocery store food better, custody of your kids back, homeless people get new shelters. If we gon' fix the U.S., we gotta start with them 2 letters, me and you. Somebody told us that the government wanna keep us broke, but the only reason why those people in the government is cause we ain't vote. And I ain't talking about the president, I'm talking about the ones we ain't know. See, they was gonna try to keep it low, but it's gonna hurt them when they see the pros.
Every time you stay home, someone is making a decision about you, making decisions about the air you breathe, the water you drink, the food your kids eat, and how much money you bring home every 2 weeks. So every time you sit out an election, every time you don't show up because you think it doesn't matter, someone else is happy that you didn't show up, so they can make that decision for you. Vote.
All right, y'all. So check this out. I got my brothers in here. Give me 1 second. I got my brothers in here. My brother Greg Bonton has just joined the panel. We're going to have a discussion tonight, man. Some may call it race politics. I'm going to just say what I've been hearing. This is part 2 of the question that's being asked. The question that's being asked a lot right now is, why is there seeming to be an increase instead of a decrease of people who are either supporting of our people who are either supporting Donald Trump or voting for Donald Trump, or even just speaking on them, speaking in current events of their support now. There was a lot of people who at one time hated this guy, but it seems like there's a wake up of people maybe kind of looking back and saying, whoa, when he was in office, things wasn't that bad. I think a lot of people are starting to realize Operation Mockingbird, where the CIA pushes the narrative in the media. The CIA controls the journalists. They and I'm not just talking about the journalists here in America. They have a long list of journalists around the world in foreign countries where they push the narrative of what they want to push to us. We're dealing with a whole lot of logic versus emotions. We're dealing with a lot of people overlooking facts. We're dealing with a lot of people now looking at facts. So these are some of the things that we're dealing with, I believe, in the change, the shift that we're seeing dealing with the increase vote for Donald Trump. So I have my brothers Bones and my brother Greg Bonton, both on the panel now. Both of these brothers are in season 2 of Our Story. So y'all make sure y'all get ready for that. And make sure y'all go over to the Our Story channel, Our Story 1968. Just type it in. You'll see me on the screen. And make sure y'all subscribe to that channel. Fellas, what's happening with y'all?
All right, what's good, brother? What's good?
How you feeling,
Happy for
brother?
the invite, man. Happy for the invite. I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna follow the script tonight. I'm mostly gonna be listening to Bones, but I am gonna be here to drop a couple of pieces and points as it
No doubt.
pertains. So definitely why a lot of the brothers are moving away from a party that actively shows that it has no interest in straight black males at all.
No doubt. Bones, let the people know who you are, man. Let them know, let them know something about you for those who don't know you.
Well, greetings, everyone. Most of the community know me as Bones. I am currently the co-founder and CEO of Autonomous Assembly, which is an American Indian nonprofit organization to where we help and teach communities how they can use resources that's provided by the government that you was never told about. And then from there, like Callie, how you done been down to my community, I became a representative for my community and politics and stuff. So I sat on the board for my community during the Trump administration, doing the intergovernmental meetings with other community leaders. And now I also are part of America's First Board. And it's basically with policies that happen that affect your everyday life. See, we were never taught about politics and what it really is. And politics is just the way that groups or organizations go about making their decisions as a whole. And it's something that's very important as members of our community that we need, because without it, we're going to keep staying behind. I mean, honestly, it makes a difference when you know what's really on the table and what's available for you. And I'm not just saying this to be saying it. Like most people who do know me, like Callie know me, I know it works because I actually use the program. We actually use them in my community. We actually built our community by using these things out there that you'll never know about if you let the media tell you a person is this or a person is that. But I'm gonna give you something to think. If the information the media told you was so true, why tell you it was paid for by somebody that has an agenda? Just let that marinate.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good question.
I like to say Bones was the man Callie took me to help me start my business the correct way.
And we did that.
He was correct.
We did that with COVID, right? And
Yep.
we did this under Trump's administration after the stimulus checks, the PPP loans. We went and this is what he was telling us to do. Go start your businesses. But a lot of us, we got them checks and we was kicking it. We was out just blowing what we got, and we didn't put it to use for the long term. Some of us, though, as Greg said, I went and I started my foundation. I went down to Tipton, Georgia, met up with Brother Bones. He started he helped me get my LLC. We started 2 LLCs and my nonprofit organization, which I do the Mounds trips, the genealogy events under, the helping the homeless. I do those under my my nonprofit organization that I started under Trump's administration when those checks came out. So I came back and I got Brother Bones and 2 other people, took them down. And, you know, we scheduled a day, took them down to Brother Bones, and he helped get their situation started. And then it trickled down to other people who we helped get their situation started. So we are doing things to try to work, you know, make things work for us in today's time. You know, so Brother Bones does a lot. Brother Bones, let me ask you this question. You do identify as an American Indian, right?
Correct.
All right. So when we hear, and let me ask you first, why did you choose to work with the government, and why the Trump administration?
I'm glad you asked that question. Like most of us, we hear about politics. We hear about what they put on the news or what you hear on the radio, or what you talk about in your little groups and this and that. And that's okay. But you have to be honest. You really don't know how something works until you attempt it and try it yourself. See, it's easy to sit back and be like, well, the government hates black people. There's nothing here for us and this and that. But if you never really put one foot in front of the other foot to actually do it, to actually find out for yourself. In this community, everybody say what? Research. Research for yourself. So you have to make sure by researching these programs and doing them, I was like, hold up. These things actually work. I started sitting in on the USDA meetings, hearing about funding for communities and doing farming and stuff. And I was like, hold on. This stuff isn't based on the color of your skin. It's based on if you're working as a community. Then I started learning about HUD Section 3, other government programs. I'm like, hold on. This isn't based on the color of your skin. It's based on is you working as a community. That means a group of people with a common unity. And that's, at the end of the day, is politics. You how to apply it. Politics.
Okay. Politics. Okay. You had went out. You're going in and out.
Yeah. It's just politics. Take all of us in this room tonight. When we sit down and we conversate on what our vision and what our goals are for the future for our children, that's politics.
Okay.
So regardless of what, we're always using it and doing it. We just decided in Tifton, what happens if we do it for ourselves? Instead of complaining about who's running for local election seats, members of the community are running, and we started voting each other in to actually make real change. Because now, if you work as a community and now you start voting people of your community in these sitting positions and municipalities and stuff, that's how you make real change. You can't make change by throwing rocks from outside. You have to be active. You have to be a part of it. And there's millions of refugees, there's millions of examples all across America, but you're not going to see it on the news because why would they want to show that?
Got you. Let me ask you guys this. We had a couple questions that came through. And you guys are free to answer these questions if you're comfortable with it. We all don't know everything, so we're just having a conversation tonight, okay? One of the sisters asked a question. Let me pull it up. Let me get to her question. She just asked a question, and I'm gonna read her question. I think this is her question right here. Okay, no, hold on. Let me. It might have went, but here it is. This was her question. She says, I have a genuine question. I'm not feeling Kamala, but do you think many men are outraged by the possibility of a female president, especially one not white? What do y'all think about that question? What are y'all thoughts on that?
So I'll be honest, man. I don't speak for every black man. I don't know if there are some, if there could be some black men out here who have a problem with that. But the majority of men that I know don't have a problem with her race or her gender and find both of those things to be irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
It has nothing to do with anything. We don't care whether she's black, a woman, purple, a man, with none of that stuff. All we care about is what things you're going to bring to bear for the next couple of years, because black men are starting to realize that, as I always say, I'm going to say it every time, politics should never be emotional. It should always be transactional. So if we ain't getting nothing for our support for you, then we ain't going for you. And if you're everything that you're promoting is promoting illegal immigration or LGBTQ, men being women, sanctuary cities, taxing our businesses out the ass, why would we put our support behind you? Has nothing to do with whether you're a woman, white or not. You know what I mean?
You wanna jump in there, Bones?
Yeah, the way I see it is the same. It has nothing to do with her being a woman. And I don't speak for all men.
Yeah.
But I could swear all men grew up with a mother telling you what to do. So I don't think that has anything to do with it. And like Brother Greg said, it boils down to the policies. It's the policies a lot of people like myself have a problem with, that you stand for and represent. But the media are trying to make it a racial thing, a sexist thing. But that's their job, propaganda.
And you know, just to piggyback one more time off of what Bones just said, because it made me think of something. It's like, even if that were the case, let's say that people didn't want her to be president because she was black and a woman, then that's exactly what she's going to deal with on the international stage. So if the media tries to cover her from that, well, they can't cover her from that in real life. So even if that were the case, let her go through it and see how she holds up under that pressure, so that we can see if she can hold up under that pressure on the international stage as well. It's not the case for me or Bones or most of us, but even if it were, it doesn't invalidate anything. It would put her in a position where she would be practiced and well versed in dealing with this very same thing on an international scale.
Yeah, now let me jump in with my opinion on that too. As we sit back and we look and we're watching this unfold in real time, just like Greg is saying, we want to see you go through the fire. We want to see you step into tough places, or not just Kamala, not just her. We're talking about anybody who is supposed to sit in that seat and protect this country. But when you're dodging the media, you're having set up questions. You know, they're softballing your questions. They're giving you multiple choice questions to lead you into your answers. You're getting exposed. You're getting exposed for cheating in debates. They're calling you out. Like this, we're watching it. Like we're watching this with our own eyes. This happen, and for those of us who are really looking to see what each one is going to do, I'm looking at Donald Trump step into some. I'm looking at Donald Trump step into some tough atmospheres. Listen, when he stepped, I'll say this again, when he stepped on that stage by himself in front of those three sisters, I think it was here in Atlanta, that was big. That was supposed to be Kamala's platform right there, right? But the racist white guy goes into the fire where he knows he's going to be attacked, possibly by all three of these copper women and the crowd, which is not his race of people. Yet he went and faced it, while the sister girl didn't show up. She didn't show up. That should have been where she's, you know. And then not only that, that was the moment he checkmated her on her race. Now let's deal with this race thing. All of a sudden, now that she has been checkmate on her race, all of a sudden everybody wants to scream, "Oh, her race is irrelevant." It's irrelevant. Yeah, we felt that too. And like, I agree with Trump. I don't care what your race is. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. But obviously, she cared enough to lie about it to the point that she wouldn't even show up in front of all of those so-called black people. That should have been her platform to go in, and that should have been her moment right there to be able to shut him down with who she really is. But we're seeing she's not who she really is, to the point that even her father said, "I'm disassociating myself with this garbage." My answer, how did the quote go, Greg? Tell us the quote, Greg.
He said, let me, I'm trying to remember correctly. He said, my mother and my late grandmother will be rolling over in their grave if they knew their great name was being used for this identity politics. He mentioned the drug thing too, because she was talking about smoking weed,
Yeah,
and their family being Jamaican. But that was the gist of it. But he ended it with identity politics.
And he said, me and my immediate family disassociate ourselves with this nonsense. He don't want no part of it. Why? Because that man said he is not black. He said, I'm not black. He said, I don't have any black ancestors. So how are people trying to force this man to be black? And the man is telling you he's not black.
He's not black.
He has no ancestors. His mama ain't black. So Kamala's daddy saying he ain't black. Her mama saying she ain't black. So which means she ain't got no black grandmas or no black granddaddies. So how are y'all making her black? Like, how do y'all just make her black? Now, don't get me wrong. In America, you have the right to identify as what you want to. You know, I mean, the daddy identifies as Caucasian.
And that's another thing that people don't. People don't understand this too. When we talk about black, as far as when black Americans are mentioning black, we talking about black folk in America that went through the black experience in America. And on top of that, understand that their Caucasian is not a color, it's a phenotype. And that spans from white to just as dark, and some even darker than us. There are Indians in India with a dark phenotype that are darker than us that will never identify themselves as black as we define black. The way we define black, they ain't never talking about that when they come over here saying who they are. Even if they were like, yeah, we dark skinned, we ain't them though. They ain't gonna never identify with you. So when he say that, just because he got brown skin doesn't mean he not Caucasian. And just because he got brown skin don't mean you can just claim him for your race if the man is telling you, I'm not you.
If he's telling you that, here's something I want to say.
Real quick, can I add in?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead. You got it.
Real quick on it, though. We can keep this simple. What did she identify as? When she got elected to the Senate, she identified as the first what?
Asian American.
Asian. Hindustani. She's a Hindustani woman. That's what she identified when she was in Congress. The only time it became black when she ran for vice president. Because again, black isn't a color. It's a political status. That's it. Right. It's just a political status. That's all. Has nothing to do with the color of your skin.
It's a political status. And as even when you say American Indian.
All of them are political statuses.
And truth be told, it's not necessarily a political status you want to just claim. Now, if you don't know what it means to be that and how to defend yourself properly, you know what I mean? Like it's why a judge will treat you the way that they treat you before they even see you. They already know what they're doing to you before they even see you. Same thing with redlining. You know what I mean? When you
let's take it even deeper on why. Let's take it deeper on why. Because when you look at that political category black that they throw us in, what did it teaches you? To be black teaches you to think for self, not group economics, self. So when you in front of that judge in that courtroom, you know what other communities got that you ain't gonna have? A community to back them. See, that's the major difference, if we want to be honest at the end of the day, is that we don't move as communities. Because, see, if you look at everybody else, they move as a community. You heard an Asian over here. The Asian community have representatives that's going to speak. Matter of fact, one of their representatives is the vice president of the United States.
Exactly.
Because Hindustanis, according to the United States Census, are identified as Asians. Because remember, Hindustani, that's just their religious side. But in America, they're identified as Asians.
So let's talk. Before we deal with this question at the bottom of the screen, and I want to go back to that last comment that I saw up on the screen. So as we're dealing with this, I lost my train of thought real quick. As we're dealing with this, right? This whole he's Jamaican thing. Okay, this whole he's Jamaican, so that makes him black. You know, and we're using black as the political term for the conversation. Okay, we're just using black as the political term for the conversation. Trust me, y'all. I know y'all know over here. I know I'm with y'all. We're just using black as a political term. Okay. When you hear people say, "Well, he was born in Jamaica," okay, he was born in Jamaica, so that makes him black. Can we deal with that topic?
I don't know why in 2024 we don't understand the difference between race and nationality. You know what I mean? Like, I know I work with an Asian cat, Jamaican Asian cat, born in Jamaica. He came over here, got his citizenship, still sound like he ain't never left Jamaica. He ain't black though. His family, you know what I mean, where they come from originally, they are Korean. They just is been in Jamaica since his grandparents. So just because you're Jamaican by nationality, don't mean you ethnically related to the people that you identify as black in Jamaica. Two different groups, two different classifications, should I say?
Correct.
Okay, so let's so Bones, I'm gonna let you just take us one more time through being black. You know, being black. You know, we use the term. Just explain it to us again when we're dealing with the term black, especially when in politics.
Yeah, that the term black and that is just a political status. Again, the way the government works is there's no taxation without representation. Once a large group of people pay taxes in America and you identify as a particular group, you get representation in Congress. This is why in the 60s, you've seen a whole lot of people that look like us go into Congress because we got active again. It's the same reason why at the late 1800s, we were already sitting in seats in Congress because we were active. That's all it is. It doesn't matter. To give you a perfect example, you had a brand new group, an alphabet group that was created right before Obama got elected. And these people financed Obama, got behind Obama, and when he got in office, these were the first group of people that he set policies for. And we all know what that community is. So it shows you how it worked because it happened right in front of our eyes. Think about it. This community came together overnight, identified as something, and the next thing you know, they got congressmen and senators that's identified as the same thing, writing policy for them. So what I'm saying is, what happens when we get active and go back to writing policies that benefit us? We can't expect somebody that's not us to look out for us.
And we're definitely going to get into that. We're gonna try to get into that. There was a comment earlier. I think my cousin made it. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find it because I wanted you to touch on that. And I'm going to go to that brother that I just saw because he had a good question too. Well, my cousin made a comment in the chat. I saw him make a comment. Oh man, I can't find it right now. Okay, I'll come back to it. I'll come back to it because he had a. Okay, so let's go here. Oh, okay. This is what I wanted to address real quick. He said, when it comes to, And now the question I'm asking is, why do we see so many of us starting to switch over and start to support Trump or vote for Trump? Okay. Now, my cousin says, I just have a problem with her not being truthful to our country. She's not honest and have a thing against black men. That's my opinion. Let me say this. I just spoke with someone earlier today, and I said, you know, this lady don't have no policies. Like, she don't have no policies. She's throwing anything out in the wind at this point. So if we all, one thing we all remember is when the question was asked, what do you plan to do? What do you plan to do to help black people? And that lady simply said, hey, I don't plan to do nothing just for y'all. She stated this, like, you know, that's one of the hottest clips running around here. And she made sure to let us know. You have men sharing that clip. You have women sharing that clip. You have black folks sharing that clip. We all seen this. You got FBA sharing that clip. You got Pan-Africans sharing that clip. You got Indians sharing that clip. We all seen that. She said, I ain't doing nothing for y'all. Now, because she knows she's getting cooked out here, and we're not really messing with her. She's seeing the increase of support for Donald Trump, not only by us, but by the Muslims, by the Arabs. She's in trouble. So now, 1 minute, she told you she ain't doing nothing for y'all. But because she sees she's in trouble, the question was asked to her a couple of days ago, if you get into office, are you going to sign the bill for reparations? And voila, we're going to flip-flop again. Now she wants to sign the bill for reparations. That sounds desperate. Because before you was in trouble, you made sure to let us know, I ain't doing nothing for y'all. I ain't doing nothing for y'all. But you're in trouble now. The Democrats are in trouble now.
Man,
So
reparations is a trap. Reparations is a trap.
Talk to him, brother.
Listen, when they keep telling you about reparations, please do not let the key word in that policy go over your head. They're talking about people that are descendants of slaves. So most of us done did our genealogy. If you ain't came up with no slaves in your family yet, they're not talking about you. But we do know this. The majority of the Europeans that's over here in America, how did they get here? The majority of the Asians that came in the Chino slave trade, how did they get here? Filipinos and everybody else doing the slave trade, how did they get here? Again, American Indians were already here. So when they talking about reparations, they're not talking about you.
And even if they was, they never gonna. She knows by saying that it's just something to say. Because even
just
if
something to say,
it won't reach her
and play
desk.
on your emotions. She's finna play on you guys' emotions.
Exactly, it won't reach your desk. But even if it do,
so here's the thing. I'm gonna let you go, Greg. I want you to finish that thought. That's a big push for FBA. Okay, that's a big push for FBA to say, oh, okay, yeah, reparations, because that's what FBA talk, right? Reparations, okay? But let's look at this FBA. Can you trust her? I mean, can you really trust her? She said she gonna sign the bill for reparations, but just last night she said she ain't doing nothing for Negroes.
But hold on. Callie, you know me. We got to stop the charades, y'all.
Go ahead, brother.
When was America founded? Let's get real quick. When was America started? What's the starting date for America, y'all? Last I remember, what, 1776, 1778? Slavery is before America. America ain't paying nobody. Man, y'all better stop being
the
fooled,
corporation,
man.
exactly. The corporation started
Slavery,
well after.
yeah, way after they were enslaving people. America don't owe nobody for slavery. Man, y'all better wake up.
Yeah, they playing with you. And even if that, and this is exactly why, if it did reach her desk, which it won't, but if it did, she know it won't pass the Senate. So she could sign it and have no worry about whether it does anything. And then let us sit here and argue about how the Senate stopped it. She was for us. She knew it wasn't going to go nowhere from the get-go.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it again. The American government gets its money from who? Let's have this conversation real quick. Where does the American government money come from? Last I remember, the U.S. citizens. So if the American government got sued for reparations, we'll be paying ourselves our own reparations, y'all. Government don't make no money. They get money from taxation.
Exactly.
By taxing citizens. So all they gonna do is raise taxes to give you, man, come on. They playing with your emotions.
Come on, man. And that's what I say, man. It's emotional, man. It's buzzwords. It's things like that. Let me and this is what my cousin was saying about her lying so much. We were watching her flip-flop on policies. This is what I'm saying. This lady don't have no policies.
But you know what she said?
On everything.
But you know what she said? She did say, my values never change.
She said,
that's all you need to listen to. You don't need to listen to the flip-flop. Just listen to my values never change. So she telling you, I ain't changing nothing. I'm just saying what I got to say.
Listen, they set this up in policy. Y'all did not notice before all this reparation stuff came out, they did the so-called BS 1619 project. So if they're trying to tell you slavery started in 1619 and America started in 1776, they all listen, they're not liable for nothing. It's a dog and pony show.
Oh man, come on, man. But you know, Bones, but Bones, I think a lot of our people are now waking up to this. They're waking up and they're seeing these things. They're looking at these things. You feel what I'm saying? So I definitely think we're at a point where, you know, we got some of us who done woke up. We walking around the house, we down in the basement, we kicking it, you know, and then we got some of us who are still at the side of the bed wiping our eyes, you know. So you know, I heard the minister of information tell me that one night, and I had to agree with him on that, you know. So this is why we're kind of having this conversation right now. For those of us who do like to talk about current events, or those of us who are interested in actual politics, it's a conversation they like to, you know, entertain, whether they're voting or not. Okay, so let me ask y'all this. The brother had a conversation. Let's deal with the mass immigration situation. The brother earlier asked, is it affecting me personally? I'm gonna let y'all talk to that. He asked, have I been impacted personally by
That's a loaded question. I mean, that's a highly loaded question. One, where are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, one, where are you at? And then two, if it hasn't yet, at the rate that the illegal immigration is being allowed in, it will. And this is one thing that you may not realize, because what they try to do is lie and say that immigration rates or illegal immigration rates are down. They're not. What they're doing now is flying them to checkpoints. So they're still illegal immigrants. They just coming with
they're coming
a paid
in the air.
ticket now. Yeah, they come with a paid ticket now. And then they being shuffled out to different locations. From those locations, they're going to spread and spread. And this is one thing about us. We don't work as a community, but they do.
They do.
So they do. So from the hubs that they start at, it will not take long for them to move out and acquire the places closer to you and closer to you and closer to you. And because you're not operating as a community, eventually you will lose. That's just the way it's going to work.
And this is why you was taught to stay away from politics. This is why you was never taught to be a part of your local government, because they knew. What did Lyndon B. Johnson and them tell you? They said, give these Negroes something, we'll have them voting Democratic for 200 years.
That's right. Just enough to quiet them down, but not enough to make any type of change. You know,
and it's not even drove us backwards. It drove us backwards.
Because they give you tokens and they hide what's really here for you. You get what I'm saying? There've been policies since 1968 that been signed for us to use, but they not gonna tell it about you if you don't research. Yes, LJ.
Well,
That you
he
ain't know.
he right.
Yeah.
If you don't research it, you'll be stuck in that generational loop. This is why they made Section 8 a generational thing. Once you could pass it down, in some places anyway, you could pass it down to your children. So what does that teach you to do? It don't teach you to research and find out what's out there for you. It teaches you to
I'm gonna
not
say what I
work.
said before. I'm sorry.
Go for it.
Number started, right? 8 is not the first number. If there's a section 8, why people don't ask about section 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? And then again, if most people actually research section 8, you're not supposed to be renting. You're supposed to use it to purchase a home, but they don't tell you this.
And
This is
Section
what's
6
written in
good for you
policy.
too.
Yeah, it's what's in policy. But if you never read the policy or don't know about how it's supposed to be used, you're just going off of what some counselor is telling you. But all this stuff is public information. But these are the things that they told you to stay away from. Oh, the government, the big boogeyman. Hold on, if you think about it, the government is the people that we elect from our community. But now, if we're not running in our community, we're not supporting each other in our community, then the government won't have no reflection of us. We are in this situation because we bought into the BS not to be a part of the government in our own country.
Look, and that leads you right back to the question that the brother asked: how has it impacted you? See, again, I think we underestimate how far we are behind because of the lack of community. See, because there's no community anywhere where everybody reads everything. However, when you have a community, say you have someone like Bones, you got 4 people like that within the community. Those are people that people going to know exactly what it is they need to do moving forward on the things they don't know nothing about when it comes to this paperwork stuff. They have that in their communities. We don't. We don't have that. We have spaced out people who happen to know it, and if you happen to be connected to somebody who know them, you in the good. But if you don't, you still sitting here getting played by all of these policies that you know nothing about. But they ain't got that. They don't have that same hurdle that they got to go over. I mean, so when you ask how you'll be, has it impacted you just because it hasn't impacted you yet?
Yes.
It will. And I got Colorado. I lived in Colorado Springs. Mexicans were coming over into Colorado Springs. Within 5 years, they took over an entire black neighborhood by literally buying out people's tax liens. By buying out people's tax liens, they was behind on taxes. And then they just forced other people out. Once they got enough foothold, they forced people out. They opened up a grocery store, sold the liquor store to the Koreans, and sold the gas station to the Indians, and then ran it. And they opened up a restaurant and a little fast food spot in that same area, made it a little Mexico. And that started out as a black neighborhood. So if you think it can't affect you just because it ain't, that only took 5 years.
So, and I would just like to say to the brother that asked the question about has it affect me personally? I like to ask you. I don't know. I have some people in Columbus who it's affecting because the immigrants are getting their benefits. I'm gonna ask you: have your family? I don't know if he's still in here. Have your family encountered any of this? The immigration, the illegal immigrants. Because I'm gonna tell you this: even the immigrants are complaining about the illegal.
Exactly. Legal immigrants are complaining about illegal immigrants.
The legal immigrants are complaining about the illegal immigrants. So this is also a reason why Kamala is in trouble. Because even the immigrants are complaining because you're allowing all of these immigrants in. Let me something was sent to me today. Let me see something real quick. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. I was just looking for it. They said today, just today, there was a go ahead, y'all. There was something happened today dealing with immigrants today. I'm gonna try to find this clip real quick. And then Bones, I'm gonna pull up the Trump policies you asked me to pull up. Before we do that though, before we do that. Before we do that, and I'm gonna try to find that clip about the immigrants. Brother Greg, I'm gonna pull this up because I want you to touch on this. And Bones, maybe you can help out also with explaining to us the difference between what do you call it? Trump's office versus Trump personally. You know what I'm talking about? Greg, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Who he is versus his business corporate acumen. You know what I mean? Like
Because
two different people.
Two different people. So, Greg, maybe you can explain it a little better. I know what I'm trying to say is just not rolling off my tongue how I want, and I don't want to confuse the people, but you know what we're talking about.
It's just a matter of who you are on a personal level and how you conduct business, right? So one of the things that a lot of people been tricked on emotionally, for instance, they be like, "Oh, he didn't rent to black people." One, that was his father who was leading the charge in that, but he didn't rent to Section 8, which a whole lot of people don't rent to Section 8.
Facts. He said, "I do not want to rent to low income." He didn't say black people.
And Jay-Z has the same. Jay-Z got the same ideology. They asked him why he ain't go fix Marcy projects, why he ain't go fix the hood. He said, because it's a bad investment. Because the people there don't know how to take care of what it is that you've invested into, because they haven't invested into it, which only makes sense. You know what I mean? Like it's something that you have to calculate for. If I gotta fix this damage or pay more for the area to be beautified, so on and so forth. So what ended up happening is he sold it to a Jewish family, and a Jewish family is going to buy up the rest of the stuff around there. They're not going to keep the same people there. They're going to move people out and move who they want in so that they don't have to deal with that. So they got different strategies. One, I'd rather just not deal with Section 8 people or lower income people at all, because I know eventually I'm going to have to get rid of them and don't want to go through all of that. Or I'll go buy it up and move everybody out, let them figure it out. So, but as a personal person, I rock with people because he has a homeless woman that he knew personally that he let stay in a luxury apartment for free.
They don't talk about that though. They're not going to talk about that.
And look at how you said it. Again, he made an investment to make a profit. In that particular building, he didn't take low income. But at the same time, he had other buildings that did take low income. See, again, we have to stop letting the media tell us certain things and actually research and look up the facts.
Which brings me to the article that he pulled up. There's another person, and it might be a little too small for y'all. I don't know if you got to zoom in or whatever to be able to read it, but this article.
Do you have it on your phone to where you can read it from your phone? Or are you on your phone? You on your phone?
Yeah, I'm on my phone. Okay. I'm saying I think people could zoom in on the screen and read it, but because I don't need
screenshot it. You can
yeah, it's like I don't need to read it to give you a general synopsis of what it's saying.
Okay.
This is another thing that people were upset at Trump about this during the Central Park 5 time frame, where it was like he was calling for the execution of these 5 boys. That's not true. This is the article right here. You can screenshot it, zoom in, read it at your own leisure. One, he didn't mention the Central Park 5. He didn't mention Central Park specifically. He didn't mention the 5 boys' names, nor did he mention rape at all, which is what they were charged for. He was talking about bringing the death penalty back to New York for murderers because people, white, Asian, and black, he mentioned all 3 races, aren't able to go through the parks without being threatened with murder. They were convicted of rape. There is no death penalty for rape, never has been a death penalty for rape. And even if they were convicted of murder, he knows that they were minors, so minors are not eligible for the death penalty. So nothing in the article mentions none of those boys, nor what they did. It had nothing to do with them at all. but we let people tell us this is what he was doing that makes him a racist when it was not true from the beginning. And more importantly than that, he wasn't a prosecutor at the time. He was just a businessman. You know what I'm saying? Like he had no bearing on what they would do in the law at all. This is just a suggestion because they didn't bring back the death penalty in New York even after he wrote this.
He was not even in office. He wasn't even in an office when he
But y'all know
wrote this.
what's even more funny to me about all this? We're talking about an individual that I remember very well was an icon in the 90s in the so-called black hip-hop culture.
Everybody
That's what come on, we have to stop again. News is propaganda. They're going to make you feel a particular way, see a thing a particular way to fit their narrative. I'm just saying again, read for yourself, research for yourself, look at the policies for yourself and see how they affect you.
So let me say this. We don't speak for all black people or all copper-colored people. We don't speak for all Americans, not this panel at all. The question is being asked, could these be some of the reasons that we're seeing a switch, a change in our people now supporting Trump versus going against him or hating him? So once we start having conversations where more people are starting to pull up facts like these and break down facts like these, show the difference in the policies, show how their families are being affected by the mass immigration, where some people don't feel like the mass immigration has an issue. It's not an issue. They will say, hey, immigrants been here. Immigrants isn't the problem. It's the illegals. It's the illegals. You have people who have actually went through the process of doing what they had to do to be here. Now the illegals are coming in at a fast pace, fast pace, taking over apartment buildings, taking over communities, and y'all don't think that's going to affect y'all? Whether it affects you right now, it might. So let's do this. Let's deal with the racist black jobs thing. Now we got illegals coming in here. Again, nobody gets mad when you say black schools. Like I heard a brother say, there's no such thing as a black school. It's just a public school or a school in a predominantly black area. You don't get mad when you say things like black school, black church, things like that. But when you say black jobs, then you ask, what is a black job? Well, they are jobs in black communities. If there are jobs in our communities where it's predominantly us there, and they're dropping the immigrants and flying them in to our communities where it's predominantly us, and the jobs getting taken, that's black jobs that's being taken. They're taking black jobs. And this is what our people are talking about. My brother, Minister of Information, has just joined the live. Thank you, brother, for joining. This brother will also be in season 2. Some of y'all may have seen the clips floating around. This brother will also be in season 2. He's making a huge impact. Minister of Information, I know you have met my brother Bones before, but my brother Greg, but you have not met my brother Bones. Bones, this is the Minister of Information. Minister of Information, this is my brother Bones. I have 3 powerful brothers on the panel, man. How you doing, Minister?
Peace and love, y'all. Peace and love, everybody. What's up, Greg?
Peace,
up,
man. Peace is good.
Greetings.
Minister, I appreciate you for stopping through, because I know this ain't the big platform like you got over there with the brother Crumb TV. This ain't the huge platform, but for you to take your time out to come chill with us, man, come give us some of your input on this topic. I appreciate it, because we just had this same topic over on your channel a couple of days ago. Minister, let them know who you are, man, and you know, your thoughts on the topic and things like that.
Okay. Yes. So listen, man. We're gonna merge all the platforms together here soon. Watch what I tell you. It'll be one big collaborative network and take over YouTube with everybody. But you guys can find me over on TikTok. Jumping like Jordan over there right now. the Minister, and then of course the YouTube page, the Minister of Information. Instagram, I think, is Minister Informing, and of course always on Crumb TV. So it's a pleasure to be on here with y'all, man. I'm just gonna sit in the background and add value wherever I can add value.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
if y'all gonna merge it, man, y'all gonna have to show me how to have the fancy pictures on the little. If I turn the cam off, man, I ain't got nothing but the little thing like
Yeah,
that.
I got you.
That's easy. I got you on that.
I don't know nothing about all of that.
Yeah, yeah. So, Minister, some of the things we've been talking about, some of the things where you're coming in right now, we're talking about the immigration situation, dealing with the last or this administration. A brother asked a question in the chat. He asked a question: have I been affected by the mass immigration of illegals into our communities? Have I been affected by it personally? I told him, no, I haven't been affected by it personally, but many of our people have and are being affected by it. Would you like to touch on that?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna post a clip a little bit later on my TikTok. Dr. Claude Anderson made this prediction several years. Where he talked about there's gonna be a floodgate of immigrants coming in here, and for those who don't see the effects or see the change, of course not. Give it 3 or 4 years, and some of those benefits that were supposed to go to African Americans and other minorities are now going to be reallocated to other people of color, and that's going to knock you down to the next bracket. Unfortunately, when it comes to receiving benefits from the government. Now, do everybody need it? No. Do the majority of people need it? We had the highest criminal rate. Those criminals transiting out of the penal system in the next 7 to 10 years, they're not going to be eligible for hire anywhere. So the job market is going to be affected. The economy is going to be affected. The social political norm is going to be affected also. So now, if we have more, I'm doing air quote, immigrants. We know that the YT are the real immigrants, but
Facts.
now that we have more immigrants or migrants coming into the country, they're eligible in the next 7 to 10 years to run for positions like congressmen and city council and school board, which will directly affect our neighborhoods and population.
So
And
y'all, go ahead,
just to piggyback on what the brother was saying, it will actually be in 6 years. The U.S. Census comes back around in 6 years. What is the U.S. Census used for? The allocation of resources.
Exactly.
So when these people fill out, this is where the resources are going to go to. Did anybody realize this? Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are both first-generation Americans. It's happening right in front of your eyes. That means they're the first in their families to be born in America.
And they don't see, look, and we don't think like that though. We ain't taught to think 20 years down the line. We're not taught to study demography like these people are using to administer the strategies they're using to take over your resources. It's supposed to be yours, but because you don't understand demography, you don't understand how to project out 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and we don't understand. So half of us don't even fill out the census. You know what I mean? So we don't understand even what that does and why we don't get any of the resources allocated to us because we don't fill it out. And then we don't understand why our vote or why our communities shift when we don't look beneath the surface level of all the issues when that's what we're voting for. We're voting for these shifts. We don't even realize it. We're supporting the degradation of ourselves all the time.
Minister, you got it. Go ahead, boss.
Even because yes, let's agree, the school system did not teach us this. Most of us don't even know basic civics, don't even know how it works. They don't want you to be a part of it, so you don't notice what's happening, and you're voting it in right in front of your eyes. Like people complain, well, ain't nothing ever been done for us. But how many of our communities filled out the U.S. Census as a community, not individuals, as a community? Because I guarantee you, when you look at the Asian community that's in America, the Chinese, Japanese, however you want to break them down, Russian, German, I promise you, They're doing this as communities. That's why they have representation in Congress as communities, not individuals. As an individual, you'll never get it done. It takes groups working together, common goals and interests. We all don't have to do the same thing, but we know there's a problem that got to be fixed.
Now I'll say with the brother Bones, right? When he's talking about the whole community thing and working together as a community, as he told y'all before, and as many of you know, I have a whole documentary of me going down to his community, and I watched how they come together as a community. They work as a community. Now remember, he sat in the Trump administration. He helped work with the Trump administration and sat in those meetings and things like that. Okay. He learned about the USDA and how that works for our people, you know what I'm saying? And I went to his community and he walked me through the farms. He walked me through the gardens of how his people down there are using what's the benefits meant for us here on the land, and they're making it work for them down there in that community in Tipton, Georgia. And you know, this is what I be trying to tell y'all. We doing a lot of things, but we need to look into things that's actually helping work for us. I don't know everything, but I try to bring some people around who do know some things, you know. So you know, hopefully we're kind of, you know, enlightening people on different aspects of this whole politics thing and how you can make it work for you as it should. Let me get my brother back up here. Are you back up here, brother? Okay. Back to real quick, back to where Greg was at. The administration versus someone doing something specifically. The reason this came up was over on the minister's channel. There was a situation brought up where it was said that Trump's administration rushed the execution of 5 convicts who were on death row. He rushed, his administration rushed. I just want to go back to this real quick, just so people understand why we asked that question. Then you have Kamala Harris out there in California, who personally, it wasn't her administration, it was her personally doing what she did out there in California. It was her personal opinion, not her administration. It was her personally that sat in that courtroom, and the brother said he looked back and she laughed at him. It was her personally that was locking people up. That single mother said it was Kamala who arrested her, and another single mother called the press there so they could be filmed in their arrest for truancy when they had sick children and they knew. These are things Kamala did personally. So let's, Greg, I don't know if you want to go back to that, and then Minister, you can jump in on that also. Can we talk about, let's get an understanding of someone's administration versus someone doing something personally with their pen.
I got to start it too with that's the stuff we know about. She also bragged about it's probably hundreds, maybe thousands of cases where she said she learned with the power of her pen.
The swipe of her pen.
She could charge someone with a low-level crime and force them to be arrested and held for at least 48 hours, maybe lose their job, lose everything. And then a couple weeks later,
she might drop the charge.
A couple weeks later, I could dismiss the charge and their life would be forever changed. I don't know how many thousands of people that applied to. But to get specific with the difference between a personal thing and an administration. So when you're a felon, especially you're sitting in prison, death row, whichever, when you do an appeals process, it takes time to go up the chain to get to different levels of governance. It would have had to go 5 steps to make it to the president of the United States' desk for him to be able to say, "Oh yeah, let's overlook that." And that's if he actually sees it. More times than not, it's not gonna happen. He's not gonna see it at all. He's not gonna review that. That's at a state level. That's just not something that somebody gonna see unless it's a high profile case with a high profile person. The truth is, the governors and all of them will be the ones who make that call. So when somebody says Trump's administration rushed through executing people, no, he didn't. The state did that. The state did that. Whatever state they were being housed in did that. Or if they were federal prisoners, then that particular federal prison system did that. It was not the administration in of itself. But
it would have been the Department of Justice.
Yeah,
it would have been the Department of Justice.
Exactly. But on her case, she's either showing up personally or assigning her what she said, quote unquote, my gang of prosecutors to something, and they have to run everything through her for it to be approved. So she was personally involved in every case of every person that got sent to death row or locked up for truancy from the time that she was a DA to the time that she was an attorney general.
Now you have to ask yourself, why? There was a policy behind this, y'all. And the policy was when these private prisons signed these contracts with the state to keep them at a certain level at all times. That's why these DAs started locking people up for the simplest things, because they had contracts. You can look into your state and see your state contract with private prisons, because every state only have one state prison. All the other ones, somebody owns them.
Gotcha. Yeah. So we wanted to just touch on that a little bit because you know when you have people saying an administration did something versus somebody personally who's telling you with the swipe of my pen I could change your whole life if I feel emotional enough to do so. I just heard her say there's a balance of being tough and being a bitch. I just heard her say that in a clip, and she laughed. As she said that. You know what I'm saying? So these are things we just kind of got to look at, y'all. Let me ask y'all this. I told y'all I was going to ask y'all this. Give me some misconceptions about Donald Trump that are, that's been floating around out here. Let's talk about some misconceptions.
I like to let Bones go in on that because Bones know him the best.
You there, Bones?
Well, I can start with one automatically that I know personally that we use here. That's opportunity zones.
Opportunity zones.
Yes, that was a program that was created by Trump and his administration that allowed us to take our tax returns and invest it in our community to make a profit.
Hold on, Bones. Hold on, real quick, Bones. So let me go here then. Since you're going there, because that was something I wanted to ask y'all. So they say the racist white man, dictator guy, that they call Donald Trump, they say he's done nothing for our people. This is what they say. So is this one of the misconceptions that we should look into or we should put on,
Yeah, because again, this program allowed us in our community to take our tax returns and invest it into our community and the growth of our community. And as our community grow, the residents here, we get a profit from it. So therefore, we don't have an outside entity, outside companies coming in, redesigning our community. We took on the responsibility ourselves here to build our community how we wanted to represent us.
All right.
That means no Arabs at the corner store. You know what I mean? It's your corner store. It's somebody in your place corner store.
So
listen, we took it so serious. We had a store on our street. Cali been here. We don't have to leave our community street for nothing.
No, and they actually work together as a village down there. They actually work together as a village in his community down there in Tipton, Georgia. I just think, I mean, I'm talking about even eating together. Some of them cook together and feed the community, feed their community. I've seen this. I've been down there. I've been down there a few times. We went down there and we did a community day together down there. After I went down there and did, so I got a chance to see this American Indian community down there work together and doing what they're doing. So let me say this. When we're dealing with this, he never did anything for us. Woo, woo, woo. He just told you about the empowerment zones. Let me ask y'all this. Would you say that affected us directly and positively? Can we talk about some of those things?
But specifically,
while he was in office, that affected us directly and positively. Because remember, he's the dictator that's supposed to, we're supposed to be so scared of. He hates black people. Would you say the empowerment zones was something he put in place that affected us positively and directly?
Yeah, the opportunity zones. They did. Second Chance Act did.
Whoa, hold on, Greg. Let's walk them slow.
So you had the Second Chance Act that did it too.
So let's talk about the Second Chance Act. All right, so we got the empowerment zones that we can factually go look up happened during those 4 years he was in. We have the empowerment zones we can actually go look up. Okay. Second Chance Act he speaks of. What is that about?
I mean, it was. I guess that wasn't technically just for us, but that was for felons.
It wasn't for us. It wasn't just for us. Shout out to the minister. It wasn't just
let's
for us.
rephrase it. It was for all Americans. See, let's not get caught up in identity politics of race and color, which we all know that don't exist. He did policies that benefited all Americans. Now, directly for our people. Now, anytime they say urban, they're talking about us. So these opportunity zones, when they're talking about urban people through the Second Chance program, what he did for HBCUs with the largest increase in funding, because a lot of people don't know they were about to be taken over. There's policies after policies, but these are federal policies. A federal policy is not going to benefit an individual. They benefit communities.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying. It was majority us. I can't say it was specifically just for us because there were other felons that weren't black that it applied to.
No.
But the majority of it was
the
for
majority was us coming out of there. I actually know people who got released under Trump personally, who came home under Trump. So I can say, so you got to imagine those families that got their people that came back home. I'm sure they were happy. Maybe some of these people, this will help their view on what they saw in Trump. I'm just saying, some of these things, could it be the reason people are now, saying, wait, I overlooked that. I overlooked that when he was in office. Let me jump in here now. Minister, you want to jump in?
I mean, I'm listening to what everybody's saying. Everybody's all wires right and exact. Trump has been the only president in the past, I don't know, well beyond decade that absolutely implemented a military branch that's going to directly affect us in a positive way in the next 4 to 5 years. And I'm talking about the U.S. Space Force. He doesn't get a lot of credit for that. And I'm a veteran, a Navy veteran, and I asked myself, well, I know what a Navy fights, I know what a Marine fights, I know what the Army fights, I know what the Air Force fights. What the hell does Space Force fight? And I'm wondering, why in the hell is Trump implementing another branch of the military called the Space Force? What is happening? Or what is about to happen? And if you pull up I'm not sure if you can do the Google real quick, but Israeli space prime minister had put out a publication, I think it was 2020, 2022, something like that. He put out a publication about Trump saying that Trump is well aware of the extraterrestrials. And I'm not making this shit up. I want y'all to go fact check everything I'm saying. this is to the chat and everybody. I always say, don't believe me. I'm not here to convince or persuade anybody. This is just information. Go do your own research. But the Space Force thing, I just never heard any kudos that Trump did that. And the other thing the brother mentioned before was the HBCU bailouts. Kamala Harris is an HBCU alumni. and she's been there 3 years. She has ensured that the piggy bank is not going to drain again another 5-6 years. You ever heard her mention any initiatives? Hell, she pulled up to Howard University in an abortion van. From the Planned Parenthood van. And I'm like, what kind of message are you sending to our young black women? What are you doing? But then you have to realize Planned Parenthood put a lot of money behind her campaign, the same as, what's her sister name, who ran for president back in the 60s, 70s, the first black woman to run for president.
Who was that?
What was her name?
Oh, I can't remember her name off the top. I know you're talking about, just can't remember her name off the top of my head.
Chat, if y'all. Anyway, she ran on the same political campaign as Kamala, and Planned Parenthood backed her up big time too. So it's just some little stuff we got to sit back, man, and observe and scratch our head and ask those deep questions. Now, neither candidate is really hitting on nothing. For real. Come on, let's be honest.
Part.
But see, Kamala has to finish the Obama legacy, okay? And the Obama legacy is to push this agenda that's been going on for the past, beyond 8 years, probably 10 years now, with the alphabet community consuming all of the rights that are due to so-called black people. The alphabet community also had the nerves to equate their fight and struggle with the civil rights movement, which they hijacked the civil rights movement in the 60s. Now they're saying that they went through the same atrocities as my grandparents did. And we know that's not true. At no point were they threatened lynching or having their home burnt down in the middle of the night or snatched out of their home in the middle of the night and having a box fan tied around their neck and plunged in the river. I don't think anybody from the alphabet community has ever suffered that type of atrocity. So for them to compare their movement, their struggles to the civil rights movement, it literally hijacked our movement. And credit to Dr. Claude Anderson real quick again is go back and watch that lecture of Dr. Claude Anderson and what he said. And man, word for word is happening right now. He said they're taking these things, these assistance programs, and they're giving them to everybody. Humpbacks, midgets, gays, they don't get everybody but you.
It's because they really did not want to give them to us. What happened in 1968 that they don't show you. Our people was burning the country down. We were rioting all over the place after King's assassination. They were forced to make it fair. So once they did fair policies, right up under our noses, they came with an agenda to start taking us away. This is why they started pumping drugs in the community. This is why they started breaking up the nuclear so-called black family to get you away from the programs. You got to remember, all of a sudden, right after this, I'm black and I'm proud. The man. It made you walk away from what was on the table for what your people died for. And we left it sitting on the table and immigrants are receiving it today.
And Thomas Sowell actually talked about that. He talked about how we got spun towards the welfare aspect rather than the actual tangible, useful policies that we started out with. He's like, we got tricked and got.
Not only to cut you off, but we were never the main recipients of welfare, even to this day. It's never been our people.
That's exactly what he was saying. He was like, basically, when we got tricked into the welfare culture, we got tricked into adopting hillbilly culture, and we just put our own spice to it.
Southern European ways. And we've been stuck on it ever since. Because a lot of our ancestors lived around these Southern Europeans when they came around here and picked up these habits.
Yeah.
This is documented history.
Like they don't clean up their communities, all of them same problems.
Those same Southern Europeans were hand in hand with the Negro farmers. If you guys are not familiar with, there's a rebellion called Bacon's Rebellion.
Yes.
And Bacon's Rebellion is when those low country YT folks, for the first time, had something in common with the Negro farmers. There's a movie with Denzel Washington when he's teaching. It's called The Debate. Great movie. Check it out. Denzel
Yes.
Washington. A lot of great actors in there.
The Great Debate. The Great Debate.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Great.
Excellent movie.
That was actually around the same. My bad. Go ahead. My fault.
There's a scene where black farmers and white farmers are colluding together in this barn trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with property tax. A lot of it was happening back then, but it wasn't until they made the poor white people feel more privileged than the Negro. And you don't really get the hatred. That's why the Klan, I'm gonna land my plane in a second. That's why the Klan, look at the year the Klan was developed in Tennessee, and then ask yourself, what was happening 4 years prior? What was happening 2 years after 1865? When in South Carolina, you had an entire black government. It's called Negro Rule. Mississippi, you had an entire Negro government, and they were voting.
Louisiana too.
Before there was any legislation passed for Negroes to vote, Negroes were already voting. The free people of
Yeah,
color,
we've been had the right to vote.
the free people of color been voting because the only requirement to vote was you had to be a landowner. They had acres and acres.
I got to step off, but I was just gonna say that just on what you was talking about. It wasn't, but about 40 years after that Edward Bernays, they used his strategies, his psychological strategies, to implement a strong divide between there's two lower classes that they created, and they put the white people right above us and told them that basically if they give any of their benefits to us, it'll destroy them, and basically told us that the white man was taking all our benefits and started slowly pushing us towards taking handouts or asking for handouts and then getting handouts. And ever since then, we've been focused on the boogeyman white man rather than fixing our own issues ourselves.
Because again, you hit it right on the head. See, when you study history, history will show you something. If they had forced separation, made blacks and whites separate from each other, they made laws where black and whites can't marry. By default, what is that telling you? So-called black and whites were living around each other and getting along perfectly fine.
That's fine, yeah.
This is why you had Baker's Rebellion. Both sides got together and fought back. So what the government realized, hold on, we're going to have a problem. The system not going to work. But now if we make them hate each other, then we move them away from each other. Because let's be honest, y'all, the majority of us live around us. The majority of them live around them. All these cultures know about each other is what you see on media and what you hear. The majority of us don't live around Europeans like that. And the majority of Europeans don't live around us. These are learned behaviors. You have to remember the first thing that was ever shown on TV was propaganda. That's why they created it. Television, to make you believe the world and see the world how they want you to see it. Everybody, we all went to the same schools. We were all taught the same BS. We were all dumbed down.
Facts. But I unfortunately I gotta step off, man. I gotta get ready for a really early morning. But I appreciate you having me on, brother. And of course, anytime.
You already know. Hey man, enjoy your night, brother. We'll chop it up.
All right, no doubt. Peace, y'all. Peace to the panel, and peace to the chat.
Sure. You guys, let me jump in here right quick. Somebody sent this to me and wanted me to put this on the screen. So for the brother who had asked earlier, and if he's not in here, maybe he'll come back and look at this later. These are things, this just happened today from what I'm understanding. Breaking news, 158 House Democrats voted against requiring the deportation of illegal immigrants who sexually assault women in the U.S. That's big. So it may, I may not be affected by what's going on right now under this administration personally. When when he asked, "Am I personally being affected by the immigrants, illegal immigrants, I should say? Let me stress illegal immigrants. This is what's going on. They said this just happened today. Today, they voted against requiring the deportation of illegal immigrants who sexually assaulted women in the U.S. Let me show y'all something else. Let me run something else by y'all real quick. And then Bones, I'm gonna let you get into the whole policy thing that you were talking about. This is our brother Ja Bricks. Let me play this one time. This is our brother Ja Bricks. Many of you know Ja Bricks.
Who believe in reproductive freedom will stop Donald Trump's extreme abortion bans because we trust women to make decisions about their own bodies.
First off, let's use our common sense. Reproductive freedom means your right to reproduce. Abortions are the right to kill what you produce. This is Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood. She created Planned Parenthood to exterminate the Negro population, like her quote, and persuaded black women through reverse psychology with the quote, "No woman can call herself free if she don't control her own body." The same reverse psychology Kamala using. Now I got a question for the critical thinking women. What do they do with those fetuses that they take out of y'all in them clinics? I'm about to show you what they do. Listen to these men carefully.
And this is part of this genetic greatness that we don't see in any other race on the planet. These curvy, sexy black women from Africa. Negroes have a kind of a monopoly on this genetic perfection, and we want some of that. So, girls, for $100, we will pay you for your egg. $60,000 for the eggs. Yeah. If you have abortion, that's very valuable. Umbilical cord, placenta, even your period blood is so rich with stem cells.
According to the statistics, less than 1% of abortions are due to emergencies or rape, and 99% of all abortions are due to people being sexually irresponsible. Keep those numbers in mind.
Now, real quick, y'all, I wanted to show that, and I wanted to get y'all opinions on this or y'all perspective on this. The question is being asked, why do we see an increase, or why do we think we see an increase of our people slowly beginning to vote for or support the Republicans or Donald Trump or whatever, when they used to hate this guy or that party at one point in time? Now, from what I understand or what I'm hearing, again, we don't speak for all people. We don't speak for everybody. So this is why I be playing clips of actual people from their own mouths telling you what changed their mind or what they're feeling or not feeling. Because I can't speak for everybody. So I'm just showing you things that I'm finding of our people out their own mouths saying, whoa, 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 whoa. So with this whole, like this video right here, one thing I've came across is there's a lot of us who are not feeling the whole gender bender agenda. All right. The things going on with the different genders that it looks to be pushed by the Democrats. It seems like a lot of our people are not rocking with that. So with that being said, would y'all like to jump in and give y'all perspectives on that? He touched on abortions. He touched on Margaret Sanger, Planned Parenthood. He said, what is it called? Birth rights or something? He said, hey.
Yeah, I want to touch on
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch on the plan part quick. Can you hear me?
I hear you, brother.
Okay, cool. So with the Planned Parenthood thing, you have to go back and research what was called the American Birth Control League first. The American Birth Control League was in Niagara Falls, New York, upstate. Margaret Sanger wasn't even on the radar yet. And what they were doing, creating a program called positive eugenics. This is the late 1800s, early 1900s, right before like the Harlem Renaissance, 1920s, the fucking Cabbage Patch, the orphanage, test tube babies, all this shit was happening simultaneously to do positive eugenics. And when it did not work, they went into what was called negative eugenics. This is when they began to ostracize people of color on the false pretenses and pseudoscience. People like Eugene Fisher. Look up who Eugene Fisher is. Eugene Fisher was also working with the Nazi Party in 1942 and 39. And Eugene Fisher credits the Eugenics Society of America for getting the blueprint on exterminating those people over there. So this Planned Parenthood thing you're seeing is planned extermination. All the experiments that ever ran on our people. One last thing. You have people like, what's his name? Charles Darwin.
Right.
His book, the real title, was called The Origin of Species by Selective Breeding, Survival of the Fittest.
Of the white race.
You had a man by the name of Lothrop Stoddard. Look up Lothrop Stoddard. Okay? These motherfuckers, racists, devout racists, and eugenicists in laboratories, cooking up shit. Crack was created in the 60s. They just know what to do with it. The compound, that bonds to your brain for that urge, like that satisfactory urge. This shit was figured out back in the 60s, man. So these people have been planning our extermination through genetics, mass incarceration, just unaliving. You know what I'm saying?
And this is
So
taking place. This is what we're looking at unfold right in our face, huh? Wow.
How do you control a population? By stopping them from reproducing themselves. So that way you can always keep the status quo. Why you think they really letting illegal immigrants coming in? If they're telling you the design is to keep you at the lowest status there is in this country, how do you do that? By keeping their numbers suppressed and constantly bringing in classes to put over them. This isn't the first time we had illegal immigration problems. If you research, this happens every 10 years. The U.S. Census goes, then all of a sudden they bring in the class of people. So when the new census come back out, you have a new people that can get the resources because the majority of us are not going to do anything.
Wow. Man, yeah. So we're watching this unfold, man. So for the brother, that question he asked me, I don't know why that's sticking so tough with me right now. When he asked, was I being affected personally by the immigrants and the illegal immigrants and all that? And I think it's just hitting me because I'm wondering, like, is this really and it's no shot at the brother. It's just I'm actually wondering, wow, is this how we think? Because he could have simply just been asking a question. That have I personally been affected?
Listen, bro. Listen.
Go ahead.
I don't mean to cut your wisdom, but
you good.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate and ask the same along question with him. How is this affecting? Yeah. I hear what you're saying about everything else, but how is this fucking with your pockets or your household? It's not, isn't it? And that's a real question because I know every second Wednesday I have a whole yard full of immigrants. I ain't cutting my yard and doing my shit because I'm not gonna do this shit. I just pay them $65. They do it. So like, hey, it ain't affecting my life directly, or is it?
Through taxation, yes. It affects your life every day on the policies that people don't know about. For an example, when policies signed, these are for things not to happen immediately, to happen 6-7 years down the road. They signed the Asian hate crime bill. When they did that, people thought they were talking about Chinese, Japanese. No, they were talking about the influx of immigrants that's coming from India. Again, do you think Kamala Harris got into that position because she was just that good? It's the same reason how Obama got in his position. What community supported him? Now look at the community that's supporting her.
That's deep. That's deep. So,
What
you know,
grandma
y'all.
taught you? One last thing on it. What did grandma tell you? To be the boss, you got to pay the cost. These people are coming over here, grouping up in groups as communities and funding and financing these policies. We're just not doing it. We were taught opposite. Remember, most of these people, when they come over here, they're not coming over here at young ages going to school. And the ones that do, the majority of them get Americanized after a while. But the ones that are coming now, that's in their 30s, 40s, they already have an agenda. There's already a plan. Just like the brother was telling you, don't be surprised if you start seeing these people run for political seats in your local community.
I got you, man. Hey, listen, I'm listening to these brothers. I'm learning. Again, y'all, we don't speak for everybody. And again, okay, I got you. Again, we don't speak for everybody. And just don't listen to what we're saying. At least go look it up and see if what we're saying, at least see what we're saying, if it holds any weight anywhere. You know, just that's all I'm saying. Basically, do your own research. So what I'm saying is maybe people are really now starting to look back at things. Maybe this is why we're seeing the influx of the change that people are having, you know, concerning politics or their support. Okay, I'm about to pull this up for the. Let me show this one clip real quick. The minister dropped off. Okay, he'll probably come back in. But let me show this one clip too. Someone asked me to show this clip real quick. Let me show this. Now these are people speaking from their own mouths, man. On their reasoning for things. So all I'm asking is, could this be a reason we're seeing the change?
Is, as you know, self-destructing. When you say the party is self-destructing, what do you see as the biggest problem with the Reform Party right now?
Well, you've got David Duke just joined, a bigot, a racist, a problem. I mean, this is not exactly the people you want in your party.
Then you find that clip of him with Jesse Jackson.
Beyond that, in terms of reaching out and being inclusive, he's done that too. And created for many people a comfort zone when I ran for the presidency in 84 and 88. And many others thought it was either laughable or something to avoid. He came to our business meeting here in New York because he had.
So what we're looking at right here,
this sense of
what we're looking at right here is a brother who said he had a wake up moment when he felt like, wait a minute, this whole racist narrative ain't it. This was, and again, I'm asking, why are people possibly changing over, right? This is someone speaking from his own mouth where he felt like he had an aha moment or a wake up moment. Now I'm asking if he's having one and somebody else is having the same moment and somebody else is, that's why I'm asking, are people looking back at things now? So let's look at, is Donald Trump a racist and how this brother feels.
Of the curious and a will to risk to make things better. And so aside from all of his style and his pizzazz, he's a serious person who's an effective builder of building the builder people. Last year, he was a part of our workshop, of our panel workshop on what are the challenges and opportunities.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it run back, because I can't rewind it. It won't let me rewind it.
And so this, a year later.
Let me see if I can replay it, because I do want to play it from the beginning. Let me see if I can re-pull them back up. Let me see real quick, because I did want to play it from the beginning. But this is this man's own words on what changed for him. Now we have to ask ourselves, if we're seeing this big change, you know, could it be a reason? Could it be a reason? Let me get it up on the screen. Let me get it up here. I'm sorry, y'all. I kind of want y'all to hear from the beginning.
Conclusion: Donald Trump is racist. A lot of people said the Central Park 5. We'll talk about that in another video. For me personally, it was the very fine people on both sides thing.
But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
I remember seeing that clip and feeling like, wow, maybe he is racist. And I just happened to come across this video on YouTube. It basically said that the clip was edited and that I should go back and watch the entire clip. So I watched the entire thing. It got to that point where he says very fine people on both sides. And I'm like, see, that's exactly, I knew he said that. There's no point in me even continuing to watch this. And then it goes on and it gets to the part where he's like,
and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
so he said he wasn't talking about the neo-Nazis and white supremacists. Why would they show me part of the story and make me feel like this? Even in the presidential debate against Joe Biden, he brought up the very fine people thing.
He said, I think they're fine people on both sides. What American president would ever say, Nazis coming out of fields, carrying torches, singing the same anti-Semitic bile, carrying swastikas, were fine people?
Kamala Harris just brought it up on the recent debate.
Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side.
People are still saying it, even though it's been debunked. Snopes just added this shit in 2024 that was a lie. He supposedly said in 2017. He dropped out of a presidential race because white supremacists joined his same party.
I'm not going to be running. The party is, as you know, self-destructing.
When you say the party is self-destructing, what do you see as the biggest problem with the Reform Party right now?
Well, you've got David Duke just joined, a bigot, a racist, a problem. I mean, this is not exactly the people you want in your party.
Then you find that clip of him with Jesse Jackson.
Beyond that, in terms of reaching out and being inclusive, he's done that too. And created for many people a comfort zone when I ran for the presidency in 84 and 88. And many others thought it was either laughable or something to avoid. He came to our business meeting here in New York because he has this sense of the curious and a will to risk to make things better. And so aside from all of his style and his pizzazz, he's a serious person who's an effective builder of people. Last year, he was a part of our workshop, of our panel workshop on what are the challenges and opportunities. And so a year later, Donald Trump, for a few minutes, challenges and opportunities to embrace the underserved communities. Donald Trump.
Well, it is an honor to be here.
You see the clip with him on The View and him and Whoopi Goldberg, she's saying that they're friends.
I don't think I'm going to get Whoopi's vote.
If you did, let me just ask, if you did beat
and she likes me. She even put me in a movie. She put me in a movies, right? A long time ago. How much did I judge? Nothing.
Like they say in the Dodgers. If you did beat Obama, though.
People love this guy. Like Oprah saying that he should run for president.
Do you have a vice presidential candidate in mind?
Well, I really haven't gotten quite there yet.
It's just
Oprah. I love Oprah. Oprah would always be my first choice. Oprah, your competitor, right?
Oprah's competitor.
You know what? I'll tell you, she's really a great woman, though. She is a terrific woman. She's somebody that's very special.
This is not how you racist.
Judge Joe Brown said,
I've talked to a number of black entrepreneurs who back in the late 80s and 90s, early 90s, were trying to get financing. They couldn't. Somebody told them to go check with Donald Trump. So they come back and tell me they got a loan from Donald Trump. He gave them a term loan, show up with the interest in the principal, one check, but they had to go see him personally. They independently relate this tale that when they saw him, he said, this what you're supposed to pay me? This our agreement? Said, yeah. And then tore the check up, shook their hands and congratulations. Now run your business. And this was when? This was back in the 90s.
Waka Flocka talks about how he showed him how to increase his wealth.
Get a C Corp to run an LLC. You're going to make it even deeper. Go get a trust fund and run a corp that runs the LLC. You want to get even deeper, own two trust funds for your business and your person to run that trust that runs all the business. They can get deep, my guy. Absolutely. And Donald Trump actually showed me that method.
People will say that they want truth, but when you try to present them with information that goes against their beliefs of Donald Trump, they act like this.
He's condemned white supremacy over 20 times.
Oh, yes, man. Could you tell me when?
Yeah, absolutely. Would you like to see a video of montage of 20 times that he's done it?
Oh, actually, no. I'm more interested in walking up in.
But how are we going to learn if we don't challenge our ideas? I mean, you just made a statement that is actually inaccurate, and I can show you video evidence of why it is. I mean, would you like to see that?
No, thank you.
He's condemned white supremacy and the KKK over 20 times.
Over 20 times?
Yeah.
Do you have them right here? Can I listen to it?
Absolutely, you can. Let me pull it up for you right now.
All right.
By the way, I'm James. How's your day going, man?
It'd be a lot better if you guys were wearing masks.
We can socially distance.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Wait. You don't want to see the examples? I have 20 examples right here.
It's just like Yuri said.
Exposure to true information does not matter anymore.
Not
A
at
person
all.
who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic truth, with documents, with pictures, When a military boot crashes his balls, then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization.
The populace versus the establishment. Whatever they do to the populist candidate, they're doing to you. When you assist the establishment in crushing the populist candidate, they're going to turn around and do it to you next. Whatever rules that they broke to get at him, that you cheered on because you were so anti-him, those rules were broken so that they can get your consent. And now that they've used your hatred to build consent to break the rules, now they can turn that same attack towards you. And you've yayed and amened it into existence. If you previously believed that Trump was racist and then something changed your mind, I'd like to know, what was that moment? Thank you for watching again. Like I said, I appreciate your time and attention because you can't get it back. Leave whatever opinions that you want in the comments, and I'll see y'all in the next one.
Now, let me say this real quick. And Minister, I got you. I got it pulled up, Minister. This is what we're talking about right now. I'm asking the same question. Why are we seeing an increase of our people start to go the opposite way of where they were at one point in time? And that's the question I'm asking. Could it be that there were facts on the table that because we were programmed and conditioned to hate that man for some reason, now people are looking back and saying, whoa, at one point I did think he was a racist, but how do I look at this evidence right here? We're looking at evidence of him from the civil rights movement all the way up to today with Waka Flocka, of him helping the people y'all say he hate, factually. But here's what y'all will do. The people that just can't stand him. I'm talking about, we watched this man help HBCUs, and y'all claim to be for our people. But because he helped them, y'all will go against it. We watched Biden not sit down with Ice Cube, but guess who sat down with Ice Cube to hear what he wanted to present for our votes with that 500, with that platinum plan? Trump sat down with him, with Cube. But because it's anybody but Trump, vote blue no matter who, y'all left that policy on the table. Y'all left it there because, like, this is what I'm talking about. Emotions. Emotion. Y'all can't even tell us why y'all hate Trump. Then when you see clips debunking the things that y'all say or the mainstream media told y'all to believe, and I promise I dealt with this earlier today. It's like, I can't have no conversation with you. Like, come on, man. Like, what else? Like, what else are you going to do? What else are you going to ignore? If I'm showing you things you can actually go look up or proof that's actually right there, you'll say, I got to look into that, or I ain't seen that yet. Or you saw them actually trying to show the people the proof. You saw them actually trying to show the people the proof, and they didn't want to see the truth. That's what we're dealing with right now. That's what we're dealing with right now. Minister, you wanted me to pull up Harem Rebel. I'm gonna let you explain to the people why you wanted that up and who he is. And we're gonna get ready to get out of here pretty much after that. I'm gonna let the brothers have their last remarks. But Minister, you got it. Do your thing. I don't even know if I can't even blow that up. You there, Minister? Okay, he wanted me to pull up the first African-American senator, Harem Rebel. His name is Harem Rebel. He wanted me to pull that up for you guys. I don't know if he still, it looked like he wanted to go in about that. Okay, there you go. I got it up for you. I can't seem to blow it up, Minister. We can't hear you. Can't hear you. Drop out and come back. We're gonna let them come back. Y'all give me 1 second. After this, I'm gonna let these brothers, because I done held y'all up for a little while today, but this was part 2. I think I'm gonna do one more part to this. So if y'all understand what I'm trying to do is, as you saw that brother that I just played, I've never seen that clip before, but he's asking the same question. If at one point you didn't like Trump, but now you're kind of liking Trump, what was it that made you kind of switch over? And that's the same question I'm asking, because we're asking the question, why are so many people, why is there an increase for support of Trump instead of a decrease if this man is, as y'all say, this white racist monster that hates us? And I'm just asking the question, could it be that people are actually waking up, not being fooled no more, not drinking the Kool-Aid? Bones, you wanna touch on that before? Well, Minister is back. I'm gonna let Minister jump in here. There you go. We hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
We hear you now.
All right. So what I was saying was, I was trying to get that brought up a little bit earlier before my sound had went out the first time. When we was talking about coming out of the era of the late 1800s into the early 1900s. I just wanted to show people a lot of information that they put out about our people in the 1880s, be it like slavery or involuntary servitude or anti-literacy laws. You couldn't read or write or all that craziness. I want people to understand that there was another society of free Negroes who were not going through those servitude at all. This is Hiram Revels. He was born free, never a slave. Nobody in his family was ever a slave. And I can make that statement because in 1669 they implemented a term which all the children were born in the condition of their mothers. So if mothers were indentured servants or slaves, and the kids would be born the same way. Hiram Revels was born free. So I want you guys to take another look at the other side of the history. Isaiah T. Montgomery is another brother in the 1880s who he founded, not like Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street was just 3 corners in a neighborhood. He founded an entire city. Isaiah T. Montgomery. And anybody from Brooklyn, anybody from Bedford-Stuyvesant, that's Mr. James Weeksville, before 1920. This was like in the 1860s, 1870s. And he bought the land that's called Bedford-Stuyvesant now from another brother who was there prior to him. So I want us to really take a look at the systemic anti-literacy teachings that they're teaching our kids in these African-American study classes and things of that nature about slavery and coming from Africa and all those misnomers that they put out on our people. I want you guys to take a deeper look at it, and I appreciate it.
Definitely.
And blame Woodrow Wilson, because a lot of people don't know this education of your ancestors not being able to read and write and couldn't do business, that was recreated for you. Woodrow Wilson and them, when they created the educational system, they picked and choose what they would teach you, not so you'll know how to be a better adult, a better citizen, for you to be a better worker.
Nah, that's what's up. Fellas, I'm going to get ready to end this live, but there's a couple more things I want to ask y'all before we go out, right? That I want y'all to touch on, right? Bones, I told you I was going to ask you about this earlier. I get it. Some people say, hey, neither side is for us. Hey, whoa. I think on Minister's channel the other day, we touched on, I know Neo X is one of her positions was she don't care about either side. She would rather vote independent. And honestly, I don't hear many people speak about being independent if we are going to vote. Just tell me y'all thoughts on that. Both either way, just what y'all feel on that.
Well, first of all, and I know a lot of people be like, voting doesn't change anything, but that's a misnomer as well. Because again, these federal elections are dealing with federal policies that the states have to abide by. Your most important elections for you is your local elections where you have influence. And you have to be a part of it. Because if not, the conditions that you see right in front of your eyes, it's going to get worse. Because you choose not to use your born right. See, we always talk about our birthright, and we have it. We have the power, we have the voice. But if we choose not to use it, what do you think happens? How can we complain about who's coming over here, how we being treated, if we're not willing to study these candidates, realize it's not about what the person looked like. Let's get down to their policies. Let's check their track record. Let's see what their business deals are. Because again, you're voting for your future, your children's future, and their future. If you're mad about the policies that you see that certain communities have now, how do you think they got them? They got voted in. We just wasn't paying attention. I was caught up in something else, not being on our job. So again, when it comes down to this election, yes, there are two wings of the same bird. Because at the end of the day, we're all Americans here. But use your common sense and vote for the policies that's going to benefit you and your community. Again, this is about community. If we keep going about this as individuals, it never works.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Minister, you want to speak on that? They're the two, two birds of one feather, two same, I can never get that saying right. Go ahead, brother.
No, I think that on, like the brother said, on your local level, you got to make your meetings. You got to make your meetings.
Okay.
That's so important, because if you don't make your meetings, then the person that's over your district, when the city commissioner comes time passing out checks each quarter to each community for improvements, there's nobody from your district or your zone there with your person, with your district person. So you don't know what the fuck to tell them what y'all need. Y'all ain't told them nothing yet that y'all need. Y'all ain't said anything. Y'all come to y'all meetings. Now the other people, they're coming to their meetings. They're gonna make their meetings. Our people not even part of PTA anymore.
Facts, and complain about the school system.
Right. Just start on the basic level, because what we don't realize is the electoral college is going to pick the president. Okay, you guys just doing popular votes. Who's more likely to win what state? All right, the electoral college. You guys study what that is, who that is. First of all, and
I think that's very important.
Each person is already selected, believe it or not. Okay, that's why all the way through Obama, everybody got in the same bloodline. All the way going back to England.
Yeah, they all family.
Yeah, they all family, because the royal bloodlines from there received charters to establish places like Jamestown, to set up charters in 1663 in South Carolina and North Carolina, and then in 1781 with James Oglethorpe for Georgia and Florida, later Florida. All those charters, those land patents still belong to them. Remember those treaties? Those they were not treaties. You don't even know what a treaty is. They were contracts. They were signing contracts. Our people that couldn't read or write that cursive stuff to know what the hell they were signing. They were just making.
So why do you
deals
think they took it out of school? Not to add on to what you're saying. Why do you think there's a generation of our children that can't read or write cursive? Because everything legally binding back then is in cursive, y'all.
Good point.
Come on now.
They sure did take it out of school. They sure did. They don't even teach cursive writing anymore.
No, they're not gonna teach cursive writing. Then the guy in Florida, the governor of Florida, is trying to rewrite the Black history to where explaining that slaves were actually tradesmen, and people are fighting against it. Like, no, they really were tradesmen. They really were just farmers. They really were skilled, what they call
Laborers.
or
yes,
stevedores,
employees.
Yeah, employees. Now, here's what I say. I end with this, and yeah, people take it how they want to take it until you do the research. If we had an HR or EO department, you would never heard about slavery.
That part.
So let me ask you this: can you expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, because it was all dealing with contracts, working contracts. See, put in slave, right? They're gonna show you some dark-skinned people, Black folks, standing out in cotton fields, working because they're just at work. Like, I come by your job and take a picture of you
at work
in black and white. Like, they're just at work. You don't understand the difference between sharecroppers and tenant farmers. Tenant farmers got their own equipment, got their own stuff. Those are the ones who got the mule with the it was called Special Field Order Number 15, or General Order Number 15 from the War Department on the Freedmen's Bureau, when they returned the land back to the Negroes, it says. Remember, they kicked them off in 1830 on the Trail of Tears. 1866, they invited them back to the land. Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, Mississippi. They brought them back on the land, but then the 17th president, Andrew Johnson, overturned that situation and gave the land back to the white folks. And those black people had already planted, set up shop, built their houses and shit. So they did a contract with down the land, you can work, get half your crop, or we can split it down the middle type shit. But that land really belongs to them black people.
And go deeper. And what did Andrew Jackson even do even worse that people don't know? He killed the freedmen banks. See, that's the story that they don't talk about. That money was siphoned away. By the time Frederick Douglass got there, the reason why he had money, because the U.S. government already bankrupted.
Tell us again, Bones. You went out. You said
the freedmen banks. See, when they did the freedmen banks, the U.S. government, Andrew Jackson and them, they stepped in and bankrupted them. These banks wasn't insured. They had these banks, freedmen banks, they were making investments, bad investments. And these people lost their money, lost their properties. It was all a rigged game.
Wow. Yeah. So, hey, listen, man, you brothers, I appreciate you guys coming on. I'm going to play this video real quick.
The only
but
time
I'm gonna leave y'all. I'm gonna let y'all get the last word going out. Just let me play this video one more time, and we come back. It's on y'all, and I'm gonna get up out of here, y'all.
Become the 44th president of the United States. He will be the first African-American president of the United States.
I've been broke all my life, but I kept hope all them nights. You see business in my city? Yeah, they closed all them twice. I was just riding down Salem, all them damn potholes I can't drive. I know y'all can fix it faster, but I know y'all won't try. Don't nobody care about us. And that's why I don't vote. Voted for Obama back in 2012. I remember that's when I had hope. He was saying, yes, we can. And everybody got less food stamps. And when I turned 21, I was still broke. I'd never vote again. I don't think I ever had a president make my life better. Did it out on my own. Ain't no politician ever do a nice gesture. I don't even know the mayor's name. I ain't never seen her one time ever. Tell me how she gonna help the city. What I'm supposed to do, write letters? What I'm supposed to do, blame Trump? He ain't never really gave a ain't nobody raised minimum wage. None of these jobs pay enough. I think they just want to keep us broke, cause they ain't putting nothing in place for us. This how all my people feel, but we gotta learn. We complained enough, let me change it up. Everything I just said, everybody I know think the same way. See, they don't want to see us vote, and we never do, so we see the same thing. But all our votes really do count, and they'll never really let it show. So now I'm finna break it down, cause if I don't, you will probably never know. First thing first, you know back in middle school when they taught us, it was 3 branches of the government. We forgot it when we got older. It's the judicial, the legislative, and executive. But all we know is the executive. That's the mayor or the governor and the president. Now none of them 3 people make no laws. They just be checking them. The laws come to their desk and all they do is say no or yes to it. So when the news station tried to tell us that Barack Obama couldn't put us on, we was all salty at Obama when it was the Congress members all along. We gotta focus on the legislative branch. Yeah, they the ones that make the laws. Yeah, they the ones write how much food stamp money you get on the card. But when people that wanted to help us wanted the job, I know they probably lost. Cause we ain't even know their name, we ain't know their face, we ain't know it all. So the Congress or the State House, that's legislative, they make laws. So what we want from the president is what they do. Okay, y'all? See, they election every 2 years, but we don't ever even go to those. The Congress, they can raise minimum wage, but we ain't even really know it though. So you know how back in 08, when we all voted for Obama, we was all supposed to go back in 2010 and vote for the Congress. Cause they the ones make child support laws. They the ones choose if your kids at school get to eat steak or corn dogs. The State House make the court calls. So if the country failed, then you can't say it's them, it's your fault. Cause y'all ain't know to vote for Congress members that was for y'all. And they don't gotta leave after 4 years, and we just let them sit. See, they don't want to tell you this, they want you to focus on the president. Now the 3rd branch is the judicial, that's judges. They the reason why John Crawford and Trayvon ain't had justice. So when Meek Mill got locked up just for popping willies, we blame the judge and not the city when they let her get voted in, cause they ain't know who to vote against. Imagine life on the other side. Roads better, schools better, everybody get their license back. Grocery store food better, custody of your kids back. Homeless people get new shelters. If we gon' fix the U.S., we gotta start with them 2 letters. Me and you. Somebody told us that the government wanna keep us broke, but the only reason why those people in the government is cause we ain't vote. And I ain't talking about the president, I'm talking about the ones we ain't know. See, they was gonna try to keep it low, but it's gonna hurt them when they see the pros.
Peace. Shout out to everybody checking in, man. I'm about to wrap this up, man. I just wanted to let the 2 brothers come in. So we're learning more about the, and I'm just saying we're learning more about the electoral vote because some of us really don't know about the electoral vote, and I'm one of them. I've heard of it, just like everybody else. But I think tonight, for me, it was a very big to keep talking about the electoral vote. I think this is what we need to start pushing to our people. Also, I also say, man, we have to put ourselves in positions to change our conditions. So if we're not going to make anything work for us in today's time, use any of this information to work for us in today's time, man, what are we doing, man? Your family, your history, ways to push your people forward, either up or forward. It's only 2 directions we should be going. That's up or forward, progressing forward or going to the top. So that's what I'm trying to push to our people. I think for me tonight, hearing about the electoral vote, for some reason that's sitting on me strong. And I think that's next year, going into next year. For those who do talk politics, I think I'm going to push that very strong for our people, at least to look into that, to know who's at your local levels, because that's where things are happening at our local level. So I'll let you 2 brothers have the last word, man. Whichever one of you want to go first, you got it.
Hey.
Let them know where they can find you at and everything.
Yeah, for sure. I ain't got much, man. Thank you for having me on, man. Appreciate it. We got to do this
Thank
again.
you for coming through.
And Bones, listen, bro, text me Bones information so I can get the brother over on the platforms, because I feel like we 4-hour conversation online. It's gonna be a 4 hour.
I definitely got you, brother.
Thank you
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Enjoyed the convo.
Thank you for coming through. Definitely. Minister information will be on season 2 of the docuseries too. Minister, before you go, let them know where they can find you at again and all of that.
Yeah, for sure. So you can find me over on TikTok at the Minister of Information. Same thing on YouTube. Over on Instagram is Minister Informing, but always on Crumb TV. Catch me over on the network. And Chief, let's wrap tomorrow, man, so I can start adding to the network, bro.
All right, brother. Let's do that. Shout out to Crumb TV too, brother. I haven't met him yet, but he's right here in the city too. So it's a lot of things we're gonna start doing. Bones is right here in Tipton, Georgia, right down the street too. So it's a lot of things we're gonna start doing together, man. Real talk, man, because we got to start pushing forward in our situations. Bones, you got it, brother.
Yeah, again, I want to appreciate everybody that took the time out for this conversation tonight. Hopefully everybody got something from it. And again, we have to do our due diligence to learn civics, to learn what we can do in our community, what we can do as groups of individuals that come together as a common goal. And again, it's more than just talk, because I've been doing it for the last 7 years. I've been part of presidential meetings with other community leaders. We have them online. It's not locked away from anybody. Anybody can be a part of these meetings to find out what's going on in your community. What can you do to change it and affect it? Because again, we all know there's a problem. The real question is, what are we going to do about it? We can sit here, keep talking and debating, or we can actually put 1 foot forward and actually put feet on the ground and rebuild our communities before somebody else come in and do it.
That's right. Big facts. With that being said, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and end it in this live, man. Thank you guys for showing up, man. Y'all always show up for me when I ask. I appreciate y'all. So with that being said, y'all, shout out to everybody that checked in, man. Y'all know I'm trying to get in motion with this whole internet thing. Y'all know I'm the old school cat. So I got to get in motion with shouting out the crowd, and I'm gonna get it though, y'all. So
Just
y'all
gotta
bear
keep
with me.
doing it, bro.
I
Just
got to
keep
keep
doing
doing
it,
it.
man.
I
Just
got to
keep
keep
doing
doing it.
Keep
So
doing
I'm with it though.
it.
I'm with it.
Yeah.
I got some good brothers in my corner, man, and helping me out. So we're gonna do it. With that being said, y'all, I'm about to check up out of here. You got something to say, Minister?
I'm gonna hit you on the text, whatever. But I was gonna say, man, let's go ahead and put together a little cookout situation. Somebody crib, pull up over here, don't matter, and we can break some bread, man, and chop it how we need to, you know. So you guys just let me know we can make that happen.
Hey man, we in the city, man. Let's do it. We right here amongst each other, so let's do it, man.
All right, bro.
With that being said, man, I'm gonna pull up out of here. You know what I'm saying? This my little jam right here. So with that being said, I'm up out of here. Peace, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. I got one more. I think I'm gonna do one more of this topic. And I want to finish up the one that I was doing before. And for those of you who did check on me from the last live, I want to tell you guys thank you. The information on that was my son and his girlfriend were in a car accident while I was on live, and that's why I got off. They are okay, but we did lose the baby. So hey, that was my first grandchild. But like I told my son, hey, figure out what the reason for that experience was, and you'll figure it out. You may need to do a little more growing, and maybe you just needed to go through the experience of possibly, or getting you ready for fatherhood. So maybe you're on the right track. Maybe you just wasn't all the way there yet. You know what I'm saying? And you got a little more work to do, but you needed to at least maybe go through the experience of getting ready for fatherhood. So he's taking it he's taking it cool, him and his girl. So that's what happened the last live that I did. And things happen, life happens, and all we can do is keep going. With that being said, I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.
Fuck Kamala. Fuck Kamala. Fuck Kamala. Fuck Kamala.
Camel toe Harris, I ain't voting for that dot. She be playing on my peoples, they be sleeping on the plot. Whoever voting for that hoe, you a op. Trump 2024, we finna pop.
Fuck Kamala. Fuck Kamala.
We ain't voting for that hoe.
Fuck Kamala. Fuck Kamala.
We ain't voting for that hoe. Yep, lying Kamala. Don't ever tell the truth like lying Obama. We going through the roof in this election with the truth. People still sleeping on it after what we've been through. It's like, damn, Kamala already showing her colors. You dummies are voting for her. It's all because of her color. She not even black. And I put that on God. Indian descent, but everybody's still lost. Border wide open, letting killers in the states. Better keep your eyes focused on Camilla, cause she crave crime. Bill in 94 ain't got nothing on today. She be legalizing crime and taught Biden how to play it. Y'all voting Democrat, ain't y'all tired? Hating Donald Trump, but Kamala is a liar. We ain't voting for that hoe. 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 Lying Kamala never been to the border. Human trafficking, she wanna take all the men from their daughters. The sound of freedom is getting dim, leading the polls. Rappers like Quavo, celebrities believe in this hope. And I say it in my captions, and I say it as a black man. And we don't care about them poll numbers. They ain't cheating again, we taking action. Democrats always trying to stick with that race card narrative, panhandle to the blacks. Different years, same plan with the Democrats. We interfering with God's plan to handle that. And I said with my chest out, loads of train, we the best out. Until Kamala to go back to stripping. Cause on God, your image don't match a politician. Camel told Harris, you're fired. Don't nobody really wanna deal with a liar. We ain't voting for that hoe. 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 Everybody say Camel toe Harris. 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 Camel toe Harris.
What's your favorite curse word?
I can't say it. It starts with an M and it ends with
Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Rap flow, deadly like an overweight fat Joe. Maga flow, got these lips tripping in the back, bro. This is for my people that you locked up in 94. Whoa, they gon' cheat, we already know the game plan. Dang, man, it's obvious she's communist, just wait, fam. Y'all gon' find out she about to make it rain, man. Dollar bills falling out for real with inflation. Face it, y'all just love Kamala cause y'all hate Trump. Y'all don't even make no sense, need to wake up. This election is a dogfight, can't break it up. Tell Jesus, give me healing if I can shake it up. Don't nobody wanna this Kamala, they ain't brave enough. I've been tripping like a blunt when you lace it up. MAGA gang stay hot like you making love. Tell Kamala we will never let her take us up. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Everybody know you coming last, ho. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Everybody know you coming last, ho. I ain't gonna vote for this hoe, that's a no-go. Social security, she cutting it for show, bro. She gon' leave the borders wide open like a throat, bro. Time rate finna go pay, but they don't know. Oh no, immigrants coming by the boatload. It's gon' hit your bank and you gon' feel it like a stone toe. Y'all gon' still vote for her cause her skin is cocoa. Even though the proof is in it pudding, people don't know. I can't hear the squirrel laugh for another year, bro. Watch Kamala sit and do nothing just like a scarecrow. Watch Kamala kill all her babies and make them fear, bro. I ain't finna vote for this wannabe black weirdo. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Everybody know you coming last, ho. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Everybody know you coming last, ho. But Joe Biden said blacks are a problem. She ain't said nothing, she agreed and it cost us. 4 years put the country down like a sick dog. But y'all gon' still vote for her, I don't get y'all. Problem is, people still delusional without God. Sleeping on the most high is dangerous like code 9. I would never argue with a lib, I got no time. I'm too busy getting right cause it's showtime. Kamala, you ain't did nothing but run your mouth and treat us worse than the immigrants, kicking your people out. You love killing our babies and making us pay for aliens, raising up crazy taxes and blame us for going crazy, huh? She gon' bring back mandates and full control. I can't believe that she doing this, don't nobody know. Cause they always keep division a way to control. What you expect from a fake black Indian hoe? Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Everybody know you coming last, ho. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Don't nobody wanna hear your laugh, ho. Everybody know you coming last, ho. Kamala, you a liar, you be lying. Kamala, you a liar, you be lying. Kamala, you a liar, you be lying. Kamala always lying, she be lying. Kamala, you a liar, you be lying. Kamala, you a liar, why you lying? Kamala, you a liar, you be lying. Kamala, you a liar, you be lying. Kamala, stop laughing. It's ugly, man.